Another year, another edition of Philadelphia's ultimate rivalry between the Hawks of St. Joe's Prep and the Explorers of LaSalle. This fall back under the bright lights of Philadelphia, of Franklin Field on a Saturday night. This is Hawks Kickoff on WSJP. Good evening and welcome to historic Franklin Field on the campus of Penn as we get you set for kickoff between the Prep and LaSalle in the latest iteration of Philly's Holy War. I'm Anthony Sorgi alongside AJ Farrington, Dom Campanero, and Ryan Compton. Gentlemen, we are just 90 minutes away or so from kickoff this evening. How are you all feeling, starting with AJ?
Yeah, Anthony, I'm feeling great. This is a huge game, as everyone knows. I mean, Prep versus LaSalle. You know, a lot of emotion running wild so far, or we'll see, and just feeling great.
Anthony, you know, it's the best month of the year, October. It's the month of sports, the greatest weather. Northeast is vibing, Anthony. I can't ask for much more. Rivalry night, once again, same time of year as last year. Anthony, this is the perfect scenery for this matchup here at Franklin Field.
It is truly a beautiful fall night. Warm 70s, and I'm excited and pumped for a great rivalry game between these two PA powerhouses, and it's going to be a great one.
AJ, let's get into it, starting with you here. The Prep coming off a 58-0 win over Father Judge last Friday. What were your takeaways from that performance?
Yeah, Anthony, I think that was a really dominant win, you know, across the board, as you saw in that 58 to goose egg scoreline. I think we saw a lot from that offense and the defense, especially those first stringers that, you know, you expected to see going in, but I think as well was the second, third, and even fourth guys in some instances getting in and really making plays that we know that they can make, right? I mean, a couple times that defense, especially in the third and fourth quarter, they were at the ball before the ball was even at the target. I mean, I saw stretch run plays where the D tackles were there before that ball was even handed off. So I think it was a really great showing from those second, third, and fourth guys from this Prep team. So really speaks to the depth that this team has going forward, if any injuries were to occur.
Dom, now to you. The Explorers fell to Roman last weekend in a 39-36 thriller. What did you think of that one?
Anthony, you know, you talked about exposing teams. That was an exposing game. It absolutely exposed the legitimacy of the Explorer squad.
No, you're fine. All right.
They were simply outplayed by Akron commits, Samaj Beals and his offense. You know, special teams and defense absolutely collapsed. Notably, the three-star wideout, Ashton Roberts. House the kickoff return, obviously, that was one of the highlights of Roman's huge victory last week at Weiner. But it really just, it's an issue. And we watched into the game, Anthony, while we were seeing St. Joe's Prep round Father Judge last week. It ended on Gavin Siwar's poor decision-making. A Roman interception to seal the game. Not what you're looking for LaSalle, but obviously it's a new week. It's something very exciting, and obviously there's a lot on the line for both teams tonight.
And Ryan, this game has been one that we have waited for since November of last year. What can you say about what this game means and how excited you are to see these two teams face off?
I mean, and these two teams hate each other with a passion. It is so strong that even like up here in the booth, I can feel the rage and hatred coming off of these players, but also for the students. Both of these schools hate each other. It's like nothing I've ever seen, and it's going to be a great game, played with rage and a bunch of passion.
No
When we
doubt.
mute our mics and,
And-
just transition over if it's mute. If
And
it's
thanks,
mute,
guys,
then
for
just
joining
transition.
for this segment. And yesterday, I chatted with St. Joe's Prep basketball coach and assistant athletic director Chris Clark, who recently made his return to the Prep when he was hired over the summer. Let's take a listen into my one-on-one with the head coach of Hawks Hoops. Anthony Sorgi here with basketball head coach and assistant athletic director. We apologize for the technical difficulties there, having some issues with the interview. But now joining Ryan and I are Bob Long, sports game analyst, and LaSalle sophomores Pat Burkhead and Jack McGuire. Guys, welcome to the WSJP. Absolutely. Good to have you with us. Let's first go to LaSalle's non-conference schedule. I also should mention Ryan Sullivan's here with us.
Yeah, how we doing, guys? It's obviously the biggest game in Pennsylvania this season. One of the biggest games in the country this week. I mean, you couldn't have it any better. St. Joe's Prep versus LaSalle.
Yeah, and the Explorers, they opened their season in Metro Pittsburgh facing Central Catholic. They won that one 23-6. Then they won a 42-35 thriller in Ocean City against Malvern before going on the road, beating Salesianum 28-17, and taking down Calvert Hall 48-7. This goes to all three of you. What did you take from the Explorers' non-league results?
Yeah, LaSalle, they didn't play up to their potential in their non-league. Their best game was probably against Calvert Hall, and they dominated that first half. A key for LaSalle is when they come out strong, they can usually win the game. But if they don't come out strong, they usually get down early and struggle a little bit.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, LaSalle faced some tough opponents and battled for the whole game in 3 out of the 4 games. And in their 4th game against Calvert Hall, they really dominated and gained all the momentum coming into the PCL season.
I think when you're looking at LaSalle at the current moment in time, you got to really look at the fact that we didn't really see their full potential in those games. I think that Malvern game was really, really close. I think people expected them to run away with that one. Same thing with Salesianum. Calvert Hall, obviously a lot better. So I think when you got to look at LaSalle, you got to realize that, okay, we didn't see them fulfill their full potential, but they definitely improved in every single game. I think that's what we got to look at right now in those 3 games or 4 games.
No doubt. And let's go to last weekend's game against, let's go to that one against Roman in a 39-36 battle. They lost there at Widener. I know all 3 of you have watched the game, so let's take it around the horn here, guys. What did you see from LaSalle last weekend?
Yeah, the LaSalle defense didn't perform up to their potential. Roman gained a lot of 3rd and 4th downs, which LaSalle can't give up in those situations. Samaj Beals was just dominating the LaSalle defense, and they just didn't look good.
I saw a game filled with missed opportunities on LaSalle's side. There were about 7 times that the LaSalle defender got their hands on a Roman ball and just dropped it. Even if they caught only 1 of the 7, it would have been a different game and probably a different outcome. But that is not to cut Roman short. Their offense played phenomenally, especially Ashton Roberts at wide receiver, who had multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, I think the problem with LaSalle's defense last week had to be missed tackles. There were a lot of times where they were moving their defensive backs back, and they really were, they didn't want the deep ball to be given up, but then they realized, okay, well, these guys are loose, these guys are shifty, and all that sort of stuff. And they were able to just break tackles, get right by them, and get those tough extra yards, which helped Roman win the physicality aspect of the game. And obviously the defensive line not really getting home too much, but Samaj Fields looked absolutely incredible in the pocket, out of the pocket, offensively. I don't think that anything was necessarily bad, but Roman's defense has been, known this season to not be, on the level of amongst others like, the Prep and, whoever you want to bring up in the state of better defenses. But yeah, I think when you got to look at LaSalle's offense, wasn't necessarily a bad week, but I think we expected more in terms of points.
Now to some of LaSalle star players. I want to start with the 4-year starter field general, Gavin Sidwar. Pat and Ryan, this one goes to you. What are your thoughts on the Mizzou commit?
Yeah, Gavin has a really great arm, and he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. Last week he had a few really tough turnovers that he can't commit if LaSalle wants to take home a win today. But he can throw a deep ball, and I expect him to throw a few shots today and hopefully get the ball down the field.
Yeah, I'd like to see Gavin Sidwell be a bit more patient here because the Prep's defensive line, a defensive line that hasn't really got home early but has figured it out late. So if he's able to stay in the pocket, stay calm early, go through his progression, something I noticed last week, he was going through them a little quick. I'd like him to stay a little bit more calmer here in the pocket here today, and I think he'll have a really good start. But then when the Prep's defensive line starts to get acclimated, you're going to have to see him make those adjustments. You're going to have to see him get out of the pocket. You're going to have to see him throw on the run. Can he make those type of throws? The big throws is going to be the big question here today.
Next to Azir Nelson, the junior back, has impressed so far this season. Jack, what should we know about the man leading the charge in the backfield?
Azir Nelson is a very talented running back who you cannot let get hot early if you're Prep's defense. He has 302 rushing yards this season on 62 carries and 54 receiving yards on 7 catches. He is someone that this LaSalle offense has relied on to make plays, and he has exceeded expectations thus far with 7 touchdowns.
And let's go to the weapons in the passing game now. Jimmy Mahoney and the Temple commit, J.P. Oates. Jack and Pat, what do you think of these two guys?
Yeah, first for Jimmy Mahoney. This whole year, he has surprised many fans and spectators, but he hasn't surprised the LaSalle football team. They have had a lot of confidence in the speedy Jimmy Mahoney for a while. Every time he touches the ball on offense or on a kick returns, he is a threat. He is very fast and has great jukes, which makes him very hard to bring down. Not to mention he plays defense too. And for JP, he just does his job and then some. One of the underrated things about his game is blocking. He is also very good at running routes and making catches. And we saw him on defense too at the Salesianum game, so I'm excited to see if we will see that again.
Yeah, both these guys are really different receivers. Jimmy Mahoney's a little bit shorter, but he's extremely fast, and J.P. Oates is just a big, reliable target for Gavin Sidwar. A lot of the time, Gavin Sidwar likes to target J.P. Oates over the middle, where he can use his big body to just bring down the ball. And if he breaks one tackle, he can really move and gain a lot of yards after the catch, too.
And let's go to the offensive line. Ryan, 3-star Grayson McHugh headed to Notre Dame next fall. What have you seen so far this season?
I think Grayson McHugh is one of the best run blockers in the state of Pennsylvania as we speak. He does a really great job getting upfield, getting to the second level, taking out his guys, driving them down. Pass-wise, I think he's done pretty half-decent so far. I'd like to see him do great in that here today. If LaSalle definitely wants to, get a wink, because somebody like Jay Nitz has definitely improved over the offseason. So, I'm expecting him to have a really good pass blocking day. I think LaSalle knows that. They got to pass the ball if they want to win, because obviously you got Haskell, you got Schuley, you got Brandon Lockley walking down, the same with John Boggs. They obviously know what gaps the running backs are running through almost every single time. So if you're Grayson McHugh, pass blocking is going to be the key today. Obviously, it's just fundamentals, getting under the shoulder pads, getting off the line, early punches, stuff like that. That's all you got to do.
And over to the defense now. Cooper Healig has looked great this season so far. Pat, what should we be looking for from him tonight?
Yeah, Halig's been great on this defense. He plays some inside linebacker, but I like him off the edge the most. Last year for LaSalle, we had Dylan Clare and Jack Luthi, who both made a lot of plays, and I think he's kind of filled that role.
And let's go to Jack here. Zyke Scott, what have you seen from the star transfer since coming to the Explorers from Emotep?
Yeah, Zyke Scott came in and made an immediate impact on the team. He has made plenty of tackles. He has come up with some huge pass rushes, and he has been great on special teams. He has been a great fit for this stacked LaSalle defense.
I also think something to note about Zyke Scott. I don't want to interrupt you, Sorgi, but Zyke Scott had a blocked punt last year for Emotep against the Prep in the city championship. It's just an impact of his special teams that we could be possibly looking at today.
No doubt. Let's go to Jack and Ryan on this one. Wide receiver and kick returner Owen Johnson. He's had a breakout season this year. Nothing short of impressive. What are your thoughts on him?
Owen Johnson has put in a lot of work in the offseason and preseason to showcase his skills in the season and put fans and, more importantly, college coaches on notice. He is lightning fast, and it feels like every time he receives a kick, LaSalle starts their offense with great field possession.
I would say Owen Johnson, one of the best deep threats in the PCL as we speak. He has been absolutely incredible in the deep threat. I mean, his routes are kind of raw, but he's just faster than everybody else. So he beats everybody off the line of scrimmage. You got to play 7 to 10 yards off of him, but him getting out of his break, he has a very good snap as well. I mean, I'm expecting a big day from him. And then on kick returns, I mean, he just does everything fundamentally right. He lets his blockers out in front of him. He does a really great job getting to the sideline, and obviously he uses his speed there. So, I mean, he's just been so great so far. He's obviously one of LaSalle's best receivers.
And last, but absolutely not least, 5-star Notre Dame commit Joey O'Brien leads the way for LaSalle tonight. Pat and Ryan, let's hear about the two-way superstar.
Yeah, Joey O'Brien is one of the most polarizing players in the country. He plays both ways, and he's great on both ways. He scores touchdowns, and whenever LaSalle needs some yards, Gavin Sidwar can always look to him on a little out route or a curl. On defense, last week he dropped 2 interceptions, so I think we can expect him to come out tonight and maybe force a turnover.
I think if Joey O'Brien, I'm going to start with the offensive side of the ball, his athleticism really allows him to play great. He only runs a couple routes per game, but guess what? That's okay on this level because he is just out more athletic than everybody. He can run faster than pretty much everybody. He can jump higher than everybody, has great head movement off the line, doesn't get beat there. And then defensively, I mean, he has played absolutely incredible. One thing I would say, the only criticism I think I would say, and it's not much of that, he commits to one side of the field a little bit too much. But other than that, his athleticism. He can jump any pass, he can pass break up anything there. He's a great tackler as well. He gets low, he breaks down, he swoops. I mean, he's a really great tackler as well. And then obviously kick returning, and once again, in punt returning, he's just more athletic than everybody. That's just kind of the base of it. it's kind of the same thing with Owen Johnson. He does everything fundamentally right on the kick return, on the punt returns, and it's hard to bring him down as well. Very big body. It's hard to wrap up against him.
And let's go to Pat and Jack. Your keys to victory this evening. What do you got?
Yeah, I think the LaSalle defense has to come out really strong and really physical. If they want to beat this St. Joe's Prep team, they have to really play to the level of physicality that the Hawks do. Another key for me is keeping Jet Harrison in check. Trey Hopkins has had some tough matchups against good receivers on different teams, so I'm interested to see what he can do against Jet.
Yeah, Pat, you said it all. If LaSalle executes their plays, and I believe that they will be in great shape. They have a lot of weapons on offense, defense, and special teams, and they will be even hungrier to beat the Prep after the loss last week. For St. Joseph's Prep, the key thing is to force a turnover early and make a statement. If we see LaSalle come out a little lackadaisical like we saw last week, it's going to be a field day for St. Joseph's Prep.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? Who do you think is going to be guarding Jet Harrison one-on-one? Lucas Johnson, Trey Hopkins. Who's it going to be?
I would say Trey Hopkins.
Okay.
And I would say Lucas Johnson.
All right. Now, the key to Jet playing so well, and you saw it in the St. Francis game, he has been able to get open based off of no safety playing over top of him. Do we see LaSalle do that today?
I think LaSalle sticks to what they've been doing all year. They haven't had experience, like you said, in that field. So I think that we see either Lucas Johnson or Trey Hopkins just go on an island with Jet.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Joey O'Brien will be able to provide some crucial need down the field.
All right, fair enough. Georgie?
Before you go, let's get those game picks.
I'm going to take LaSalle 42-41.
I believe LaSalle, coming off the heartbreaking loss last week, comes out tonight and dominates this extremely talented St. Joseph's Prep team. Also, give me the Explorers 42-21.
And, well, I think Ryan and I would both disagree. You'll hear our picks
Yeah.
later. Gents, thank you for joining. Folks, you can catch Pat and Jack every weekend on Bob Long Sports covering the Explorers of LaSalle. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Let's take it to the recruiting corner here with A.J. Farrington. A.J., it feels like we're always talking about four-star linebacker Brandon Lockley, and today it's because he picked up an offer from Ohio State on Thursday. What are your thoughts on him?
I've talked about him many times before on the pregame. I think he's an incredible player. I think it's that versatility, right, that a school like, the Ohio State is really looking for, right, that ability. We saw him get to the passer a lot the last couple weeks, especially with John Boggs' return. We've also seen him a lot in covering, incredibly sure as a tackler, and able to really have an impact at multiple levels. Not all linebackers are able to do that. You got some guys who, mainly they fit the run, or mainly they drop back into coverage. They can maybe pick up tight ends or a receiver. But I think Lockley just has that ability to really impact all facets of the game. And I think if I'm a school like Ohio State mentioned before, I think that's really the big prize with him overall.
Next to Messiah Acree. A.J., his stock seems to be rising by the minute, doesn't it?
I mean, one of the most important, they say in all sports that speed kills. I mean, Messiah is one of the most explosive athletes, one of the fastest guys that, he's probably the fastest guy on the field no matter what game they're playing, and I think that's definitely got to be part of the reason. We see he's not the tallest guy, but his ball skills and his ability to contend down the field really been a big part of why he's been so successful so far this season, and that's also been a big part of the attention that he's been getting so far.
Now to John Boggs. The Mike linebacker has looked phenomenal since coming back from injury. What should we be looking for from him tonight?
I think first off with Boggs, he's a little bit like Lockley in that ability to impact the game on multiple levels. We've seen him get there and really frustrate the quarterback many times, but I think his biggest attribute, I would say, Anthony, is his tackling ability. I mean, fantastic. You don't see John Boggs miss a tackle. I mean, he gets in there, he wraps up, and guys don't get past him at any level. I mean, he can come in and get a guy in the backfield, or he can sit and wait in space and, stop a running back part for, a short gain. Ability in the passing, very good. So I think I would see overall, and then not just in terms of the measurables, but let's look at the leadership from him too. Even when he was hurt, just really inspiring his guys. He was seeing what he was seeing. He was letting people know, and he was showing them. And he's not putting he's not putting guys down, right? He's just continuously lifting up his team. So I think I would look for that impact on and off the field, really.
Lastly, the Prep's offensive line has been nothing short of spectacular over the last 2 games. What should we expect from them tonight?
I think we should expect what we've been seeing. Just pretty clean pocket overall for Charlie to work with. I mean, these guys have been doing fantastic. I mean, we can really go back to St. Francis was a fantastic game for them. And then moving forward, it's just been continuously very impressive. We saw against Good Counsel and we saw against Father Judge. Not very much pressure getting to Charlie, all things considered. And I think, offensive lines continue to get better as the season goes on, as these guys are playing together. And I think I would just continue to look for that offensive line to improve.
AJ, thank you for joining. We will see you in just a few minutes. Now let's turn it over to the game preview with Dom Schalk and Ryan Sullivan alongside here. We are back, and we are just a few minutes away from Hawks kickoff. It is time to welcome on the game commentators. Looking back over the last few games, guys, the Prep has seemed to improve each week. What have you seen that's impressed you, and what are you expecting to see tonight?
I would say right now, at the current moment in time, St. Joseph's Prep, they have looked great defensively. Their defense has been great. I mean, look what just happened last week. I mean, they haven't how many points did they let up in the last couple of games? Their defense has been absolutely incredible. I think that LaSalle's obviously more of a test. They have more talent than the previous 2 teams. But the defensive line's been getting home. The secondaries look great. I'm expecting Tyjon Hamilton to step up well. And there's definitely different packages the Prep can show you defensively. Offensively, we've gotten the ground game going. Logan Darrisol had his big run last week. Williams looked really great as well. And then Charlie Falk's been slinging the football great. Jet Harrison has been really great as well. I mean, his routes are just absolutely incredible. You got to put a safety over top of him, or he is going to absolutely dominate offensive line. No complaints there. They protected Charlie pretty well for the most part. There's been a few times where he's had to escape the pocket, but what are you going to do? Charlie's has also done a great job throwing on the run. St. Joe's Prep has been incredible this season. Dom?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with what you said there, Ryan. This obviously, Hawks have played quote-unquote bigger teams nationally, but there is no bigger game on the schedule than a one against LaSalle. It means everything to both of these programs to come away with the win here, especially when both of them are in such high, incredible form. I mean, both, I think, rather easily the 2 best teams in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, LaSalle, shocking upset to Roman Catholic, which I believe they will prove wrong, just like the Prep proved everyone wrong when they were upset by LaSalle last year. However, you have to consider that LaSalle might be coming back with sort of a reinvigoration after that upset loss to the Catholites. And, key to the game for the Hawks, I think, is going to be having a more successful run game outside of the first half against Heritage. And, I mean, obviously, Father Judge, everything worked. But I really want to see a classic explosive game from Kion Billups, the one he made himself known for in the second half of last year. And I think establishing a run game that really goes beyond those power runs up the middle, which have been rather ineffective against stronger opponents. I think getting a more creative run scheme that works and just stifling impact plays from Joey O'Brien. Do not give him the chance to kind of will LaSalle into this game with his talent. I think those are the 2 keys to the game for the Hawks. And then subsequently for the Explorers, I think it's just making sure Sidwar has a comfortable time in the pocket against that strong front 7 of the Hawks. If Alex Haskell is breathing down his neck after a second, he's not going to have much time to spread the ball to his solid weapons. And on top of that, I think it's obviously the Prep's going to be trying to establish a run, but what's worked better in some of these big games has been the pass. So I think trying to take Jet Harrison out of the game as best you can, considering you can't do it fully, is going to be very important, and you're going to need a great game from Joey O'Brien there.
And let's go over to LaSalle here. Let's go to your keys to the game. Both teams here. Dom, what are you expecting? What do you think it'll take for Hawksman tonight?
Well, I mean, I think what I was just talking about, where it's going to be the Hawks, in order to win, need 3 main things. They need a consistent run game to fall back on if Charlie and the guys aren't clicking in terms of connection. They need the front 7 to show up big time and just suffocate any run game to Ortiz and really clog up the middle, keep Sidwar pressured. And subsequently, it's just, you're going to hear the name a lot, but prevent Joey O'Brien from making impact plays, either through just scheme, just don't let the ball get into his hands and let him be volatile.
There you go.
When he happens, just a chance of randomness increases on the field, and randomness in this game is going to favor LaSalle, who I think going starters for starters, 22 for 22, is a less talented squad at the moment, but that does not mean they can't win. We saw it last year.
100% agree. I'd say the prep right now, they're probably their keys to the game. I would say get home early. Gavin Sidwar has done great in the pocket this season. He's definitely improved there, but he can also throw on the run. He tends to go through his progressions a bit quickly, so if you give him even more pressure there in the pocket, then he's going to, he could break. We don't know. We'll possibly see here today, but I would say get home early, and then obviously for the offensive side of the ball, I honestly would agree with Dom Schalk. I would say, establish the run early because of the fact that there have been a couple times this season where Charlie and his receivers and they haven't necessarily been on the same page. Evidently, the second half of American Heritage. So I think if you're able to establish that run early, open up the gaps for Kion Billups, which I think that the offensive line can definitely do, then you can rely on the run game just a bit more, and they can open up the pass game. Get the single high safeties off of Jet Harrison and Austin Frisbee amongst others. Can maybe get the ball to Rod Novotny around in the middle of the field. Use the run to set up the pass.
And guys, let's hear it. What are your score predictions for tonight?
Score prediction, give me, so it's a rather basic score prediction, but I'm going to go with classic 35-21 for the Hawks.
I'm going to go St. Joe's Prep, 31-21.
There you go, folks. Make sure to tune in just a few minutes as Dom and Ryan have the call right here. We will be back in a bit for the final word right here on WSJP. Now, folks, the clock is ticking. We are 36 minutes away from kickoff. Center City has lit up. Whether I can't tell whether it's Phillies red or Prep Crimson tonight. It's one of the two. But either way, I think that Philadelphia's team, St. Joe's Prep, facing the boys from Winmore, have the hearts of Philadelphia on their side tonight. Let's wrap up the show with the final word. AJ Farrington, Ryan Compton, and don't forget about Dom Campanaro on here. He's with us as well. Live here on WSJP. Back with me. Guys, let's start with the Prep. Charlie Folk looking to have another great night this evening, but he is going up against a very solid LaSalle defense, which won't make his life easy. AJ, how do you think that Folk versus the Explorers front seven plays out tonight?
I think he's not going to have. I think Charlie's going to have to really show off that ability of really extending plays that we've seen him do multiple times. I think he does a really great job of getting out when he has to get out. And, there's been multiple plays this year where it looks like he was going to get dropped for a loss and really turn something into nothing. Pretty explosive with his legs, and I think that's going to be one of the keys is if you get flushed out of the pocket, just really get on your horse, and get out of danger. So I think not forcing it too much, it might be okay to kind of just throw it in the dirt occasionally if you're not really getting that kind of that look that you're wanting to. Turnovers are a huge thing, and field position is a huge thing, and I think that's going to be really important for him to make sure that he's not getting too impatient in there.
And Ryan, let's go to you. Kai Billups hoping to put together a big rushing night tonight. How do you see the Preps run game working out?
And, judging off of last year, I think Kai Billups can have a crazy game. Of course, starting the game off hot last year. And I think with LaSalle's secondary being as good as they are, I think Prep's offense this game will be a heavy run offense. Kai Billups finding his gap right in the A-gap. I think it's going to be a good game for him.
And to Dom Camp now, let's go to you. The matchup we will all be watching is Jet Harrison versus these LaSalle DBs. One of them, Joey O'Brien, 2 5-stars might be squaring off tonight. What should we look for there?
Yeah, Anthony, tonight features the best players in the class of 2026 and 2028 respectively, obviously. Jet Harrison's talent, it comes from his blood. Harrison, it's a name that runs through Philadelphia, obviously. Marvin Harrison Jr. on the Cardinals right now. And the next iteration of that name, Jet Harrison, is playing out of his mind. Legacy game against, right here again, when we were here not too long ago, probably a month ago when they took on St. Francis. 4 touchdowns, Madden numbers put up by the kid. And, he's going up against one of the best player in Pennsylvania, Joey O'Brien. We're talking about, in my opinion, the best lurk safety by far. Offense and defense, let's see what he does. He has peak athleticism. Probably the most athletic guy in the state, maybe in the whole area, honestly. Obviously, OG7 legend. He's going to be a huge threat for Gavin Sidbar. We'll see how he performs, but obviously, Marvin Harrison is going to be highly contested, but we saw him deal with these tight players. Jere Edwards, the Alabama commit who played for St. Francis, was able to get by him. It's all in the eyes of Charlie Folk, and Charlie Folk get his throws right. Obviously, I'm not the one to speak to that, and my question is about the wide receivers. Jet Harrison will be a great guy this game, but I'm interested to see how the Prep moves around him.
Over to the Preps defense now. Alex Haskell, John Boggs, Brandon Lockley and company looking to force Gavin Sidwar into bad decisions. AJ, what should we expect to see there?
I think, like you mentioned, they're forcing into bad decisions. We talked about Charlie's ability to run. I don't see that as much coming from Sidwar. A very pure passer and a very good one at that. I can't stand the boys from Winmore personally. I've played them, I think, 10 times now in my prep career amongst different different sports, different games. But I will give him a little bit of his flowers, as much as it pains me to do. I think he's a fantastic passer in the pocket, but I think it's going to be about speeding him up and trying to make him kind of force balls into tight windows, and I think this prep secondary is definitely talented and opportunistic enough to really capitalize on, like I said, Gavin Sidwar getting sped up a little bit, making some decisions that maybe he wouldn't make if he had the kind of time, but I don't expect him to have that kind of time with this talented defense that, you just mentioned some of those key guys just now.
Ryan, Ozzie Nelson has been a surprise star for the Explorers so far this season. How do you think in the rush game he'll match up against the Preps front seven?
Azir Nelson has been a sneaky star for this LaSalle defense, but this Prep offense is a brick wall. I think nothing will get by them, and they will limit 1 to 2 sacks this game.
And finally, Dom, Joey O'Brien and Messiah Acree going one-on-one tonight. Thoughts on that?
I mean, there's not much to talk about Joey Bryan more than what I said, obviously. His talent's unrivaled, obviously. Overtime's here for a reason. But again, we'll talk about this. He's incredible on defense. We'll see how his offense plays as well. He did incredibly well against Malvern. We'll see if it continues on. Obviously, they had a tough game against Louisiana, managing to pull up the W there. Going up against one of the, in my opinion, one of the better defensive players in the area, and Messiah Acree, obviously, great in man-to-man coverage. He's got the speed, but he's had an up-and-down year so far. We'll see how he performs. Obviously, the Demetha game is definitely on everyone's mind about that. Huge loss there. Had some calls called back against him, and obviously now he's had a rough few stretch, but obviously you're taking on Joey O'Brien. You got all that like adrenaline rushing through your veins. It's going to be impressive to see how they keep up with him. Obviously, Joey O'Brien's got the height, he's got the talent. It's up to the aggression now, Anthony. That's all that matters.
And let's go to your keys to the game, guys. Ryan, starting with you. Keys to the game.
And I think this game is going to be very offensive heavy. And I think the Prep will come out on top in this game. Will it be a close one? Will it be a blowout? I do not know, but I have Prep winning 42 to 30.
Okay, Dom, your keys to the game?
Sorry about that, Anthony. You know, we're switching mics. You know, different setup that we normally have. Again, it all depends on the IQs of the quarterbacks. Charlie Fulk and Gavin Seward, during the game, they're not the best. We'll talk about that. They normally force passes a lot. Notably, Gavin Seward. Again, we're going to keep on referring to it. The last game he played at, we got a lot of turn from the student section for St. Joe's Prep. A lot of excitement again for this game, obviously, you know. Everyone in the Prep knows this date, October 4th. They'll know it forever. But going back to what we're talking about, you know, again, it's about the IQs. Charlie Fulk has been throwing a lot of interceptions, and it's been on those double coverage plays. You know who else has been throwing a lot of interceptions on double coverage plays? Gavin Seward. These two are nearly alike. Obviously, they're not. They're on different situations. It's going to be interesting to see how they use their talent. They both have decent running backs. They both got great receivers. How can they balance that out? That's going to be the question for this game. Obviously, the offensive lines for both teams. St. Joe's did amazing last game when they took on Judge. Makes sense, obviously. Good Counsel was their biggest game of the year, in my opinion, obviously. 24-0 shutout, and that translates to defense as well, Anthony. Defensive performance, unbelievable. 24-0 is a great victory. LaSalle, they couldn't have the cards go their way against Roman. Will it continue this week? It depends. I doubt it. I think that LaSalle is different. You know, they're ready for this rivalry. They've been preparing for this day. Their coaches have been watching and scouting a lot. But obviously, you know, Desmond Ortiz. We're talking about John Boggs, another factor on defense. And then translating back to that offense, J.P. Oates, as you mentioned, he's got a tight end build. He plays like Darren Waller in a sense. He's got that swag to him. We'll see how he performs, Anthony.
And Dom, let's get your score prediction.
All right, well, Anthony, you know, I never want to be so wrong in my life, obviously. You know, the pick doesn't reflect who I want to win, but it's ideal for many reasons. You know, tonight, LaSalle's coming off of a devastating loss, but the Explorers are playing with their season on the line, it feels like. You know, 2 losses would be very upsetting to them and to the program as well. Obviously, you know, LaSalle needs to stay alive really in PCL play, and I'm severely pulling for 17th and Gerard, but seriously, LaSalle's got so much more to play with. Obviously, Prep hasn't lost yet in PCL play. It's going to be a factor, but with all things considered, I will say go Prep, but LaSalle will sneak their way into this one, 27-26 the final.
AJ, your keys to the game and score prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dominic talked about him a lot, but I'm going to start with an old friend of mine, John Patrick Oates, working at that tight end spot. I mean, he's gained a ton of weight since he came into LaSalle. You know, really bulked up, and you know, he's kept a lot of that speed still, right? I think it's going to be a really tough matchup for those linebackers there, whether it's Boggs or you get an outside guy on him. I think you want to watch out for him being a real threat, especially with this Prep pass rush really getting after Sidwar, looking for those quick 10, 15-yard dumps, even though the guy does have that big play potential. I mean, I definitely have a little bit of bias towards him being, you know, long-term friend of mine, but I think that would definitely be a watch for them. And then defensively, if you're Charlie, I think you want to watch out for Joey O'Brien lurking a lot from that safety spot, coming down and, you know, making plays. I mean, we've seen it happen many times. you see what looks like Jet Harrison one-on-one coverage on that far side. Charlie lets it go, and then, the safeties are thinking that too as much as everyone else is. They see how big of a threat he is on that one-on-one, so I think you want to watch that lurk from those LaSalle safeties coming down from the top of your screen. As well as towards the key. I mean, Campanella really got a lot of them for me. He got a lot of words in there. I think the decision-making, like he said as well, is a really big factor. I mean, these are two teams where I talked about turnovers earlier. I think it's about you can't be too aggressive, you can't be too conservative, right? You need to find that balance. I mean, these are teams that are very evenly matched across the board. I think for St. Joe's Prep, you want to try and establish a running game a little bit. We've seen them work a lot, that A-gap power up the middle. I would personally like to see a little bit more stuff to the outside there, especially with a guy like Kion Billups and his ability to work outside the tackles and really, shake guys in the open. So I think that would be an interesting thing looking forward to. I would like to see them do. And special teams will be a huge thing, too. I would look towards, they talk about prep, block a punt, win a game being a huge thing. And as well, in terms of punting the ball, you can't give up field position inside your 50, so I think special teams is going to be really important here as well for that aspect. It's hard to really pick. It's hard to pick a score here.
Yeah.
I think I want to say 31-24 St. Joe's Prep.
Okay, and my pick for tonight, I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to meet the moment. It's going to meet the electricity, the energy. 12,000 expected tonight at Franklin Field, but one team will win, and it will be the team that comes from 17 and Girard. Give me St. Joe's Prep 31-20 over the Explorers of LaSalle. Folks, this has been Hawks Kickoff. We are about 25 minutes from kick, so in just a few, it'll be Dom Schalk and Ryan Sullivan with the call. Have a good night. Enjoy the game, and as always, go Prep.
Philadelphia, the city brotherly love, a city filled with cheesesteaks, soft pretzels, and some of the most devoted sports fans in the area. Everybody in the city knows when Dallas comes into town. Everyone in the city is alive when the Phillies take on the Mets. And everyone stood together when Joe Frazier has epic matches against Muhammad Ali. Amongst all these rivalries, in high school, it has one that has stuck through for the past 30 years, and it's been going strong ever since. And tonight, the matchup between St. Joe's Prep and LaSalle adds a whole nother episode. I'm Dom Campanaro. I'm here with
Mr. Zizichny, Jason Zizichny, class of 1990.
Mr. Sokolowski.
Bill Abington, class of 90, Director of Communications.
Anthony Sorgi.
Andrew Brousseau. Ryan Sullivan, class of 2027.
Demarinacci.
Yes.
What is your experience with the prep rivalry against LaSalle? How's it been like since you've been at the prep?
Well, this will be year 5, so there have been some great games. Definitely some tremendous back and forth. The best part of the rivalry is that obviously what happens in the field, but also just the traditions that go within. A lot of opportunity for the alums of both schools who actually know each other very well, a lot of the guys. It's their chance to kind of get back to that foundational piece of their identity, really root for each institution. Both groups have a lot of pride in their schools, and to see that on full display, I think is great. You know, 2 schools that share the Catholic educational mission, different approaches, Lasallian and Jesuit, but coming together and around events like this, spirited competition. So it checks all the boxes for the recipe of a great rivalry. That's for sure. A lot of talent, a lot of passion, good stuff.
Mr. Martin, earliest memory of the rivalry, what is it?
So I was in the prep in the early 90s. In the early 90s, we used to play the game at LaSalle University on Thanksgiving every year, and those were the best days of the rivalry that I remember. Those days in the early 90s where we would go, and regardless of which team was better through the regular season, that Thanksgiving game, anything could happen. Anybody could win on Thanksgiving, and there was a lot of bragging rights that went along with those Thanksgiving games. And those Thanksgiving games continued for all of us for years after we graduated. That was our time to get back together, was Thanksgiving morning at LaSalle University. So those are my earliest memories of the rivalry. Those are my best memories of the rivalry, because that was it was about the 2 schools coming together, 2 schools that have proud traditions, 2 schools that have loyal alums. There was more than 10,000 people there on Thanksgiving to just have a high school football game and to get together with old friends and kind of celebrate being together.
And obviously, you always are talking to football kids. You've always been in that realm. What have they made of it, from what you've heard?
I think for our guys at the prep, our football guys that I interact with and talk to and see, I think they just respect LaSalle. They know they're a really good team. They know they're very talented, and they know they're a really great opponent and someone that they respect tremendously. And again, most likely, some of those guys are going to be teammates with some of those guys in college. So when they're in college, they're going to have jokes and jabs about the games of the past that they played in, and hey, remember that play, remember this play. But ultimately, they're going to become friends and buddies, down the road. And that, ultimately, that's what it should be about.
So, Mr. Abington, you run broadcasting in St. Joe's Prep. You're one of the co-moderators with Mr. Burns. What has it been like behind the scenes of these 2 teams going at it?
Well, it certainly is always the most exciting games of the year, for sure. I know we can always count on getting the biggest turnout of our student broadcasters and journalists at these games. And, it's just great because it brings a lot of school spirit, a lot of kids coming to the games. It's just an awesome opportunity to celebrate St. Joe's Prep.
So, you were a principal at St. Joseph's Prep, obviously. Yes. So, you probably dealt with LaSalle's principal before and probably sort of talked. Obviously, again, great game coming up this weekend. What have you really learned about since even becoming principal and now a teacher about this rivalry?
Yeah, I think it's an ongoing one. As a student, I remember from the late 80s into the early 90s, my years as teacher, as principal, but it just shows the energy that comes up from both schools. And they always see it as a time where our school really connects and they're driven to work together and to cheer on their team. And I think it's the energy is most exciting to see.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're similar schools and we have such similar ideas and they're good people but it's good rivalry. It's good and healthy and balanced rivalry.
One word to describe the matchup tonight, it would be
physical. I think they're not scared to hit when it comes to this week. You got to put your body on the line. And honestly, this is the week that matters most.
Grit.
Can you elaborate on that?
I would say that both teams have grit and determination to win the game, right? And whoever has the more grit, I think will win. Whoever has the more mental capabilities will win the game.
From behind the scenes, what have you really learned from these 2 teams?
What I've learned from these 2 teams is that there is a level of respect between the 2. We hear so much about the hatred and the disrespect between the 2 fan bases, but at least on the prep side, I know for a fact that
it is respect at the end of the day. It's what we've heard from our counterparts over at LaSalle who do broadcasting as well. It's respect. These two schools, at the end of the day, they're similar. They have similar missions and similar purposes to educate young, growing Catholic men into men who are ready to go out and serve their communities through the gospel, right? And I think that's really it at the end of the day. These are two schools that are very similar and that respect each other.
Philadelphia, the city brotherly love, a city filled with cheesesteaks, soft pretzels,
here we are. The Prep, LaSalle, top of the PCL, top of Philadelphia, top of Pennsylvania. Falk and Harrison, Sidwar and O'Brien on a national stage. Welcome to Franklin Field and WSJP, where a rivalry goes from just tradition to live action in the first clash between these two football powerhouses. The Prep coming off a 58-0 demolition of Father Judge, while LaSalle comes off a barn burner, heartbreaking loss against Roman Catholic. I am Dominic Schalk on play-by-play commentary for tonight, joined by Ryan Sullivan on color, as we get ready for the opening kick here at Franklin Field for the only rivalry you should care about.
Before we start, Dom, as I want to say, it's soul-taking time.
Opening kick. Brought down at the 20. Great work by LaSalle special teams. Ryan, why don't you break down this matchup as Charlie Falk and the guys trot out there?
Well, let's start with Charlie Falk. Obviously, has played great this season. I've loved his ability to throw on the run this season, able to find his receivers downfield. His connection with them has been great. I want to see Rob Novotny get over the middle this week. Kion Billups, let's open up the run. Jake Namlin, the interior offensive line. Sean Barth, Caden Oler. Got to open up that interior offensive line for Kion Billups early so they can open up the pass game. Defensively, you're looking at St. Joe's Prep. Got to get home early to Gavin Sidwar, Dom. That's going to be the biggest key to the game.
Harrison in motion. Flip in the backfield, fake the handoff to him. It's going to be Harrison short on a little hitch. And he will go out of bounds after a gain of 8.
Well, they got a safety over Jet Harrison, that being Joey O'Brien, Dom, but it looked like the Prep didn't really care on that one. They got it to him on a little bit of a hitch. Jet Harrison doing his own thing as he's able to get the first down.
There's the personnel out there. You've got a little bit of Alston Frisbee. You've got a little bit of Rob Novotny right there. Alston Frisbee, Jet Harrison. Frisbee and Harrison solo on the right. Novotny on the line. And then Billups in the backfield. Going to hand it off to Billups this time. Up the gut, but he bounces it outside. Gets into the second level.
Well, it's a good start there for Kion Billups. The gap's kind of closed. They sent their front 7, but Kion, a great jump cut to the outside. Jump cut back inside to try and get back through his original gap. That's a 5-yard gain. You love to see it. And now 2 backs. You don't typically see that here for St. Joe's Prep. This is pretty interesting here. Obviously, no Jake Wilson for this game, so I don't know how much of an H-back we're going to see, but Kion going to be acting as that right now. Or maybe it'll be a mean. I'm not necessarily sure. This is an interesting formation. Never really seen this from the Prep.
Big rivalry game, you see me swing out wide. Folks going to target him. It's Williams in plenty of open space. He will get stopped relatively after the line of scrimmage. Only a gain of 1 there. Good open field tackling by the Explorers.
Yeah, that's not really a formation we see from St. Joe's Prep. And Amin Williams did a really great job going to the outside. Obviously, a nice catch there. We're just LaSalle Explorers there. It seemed like they knew where the ball was going. I mean, good on LaSalle to make that tackle, but I would like to see that as we continue.
Well, Colberdino and Frisbee on the right. Novotny on the line. Williams in the backfield. Jet Harrison, of course, one-on-one on the left.
And they're pressing Jet on this one. Obviously, got Joey O'Brien over the top.
3rd and 4 here. Folk fakes the hands off to Williams. Pressure comes. They target Frisbee over the middle. It's hit before the ball gets there, but no flag thrown. Bit too in front of him to get a penalty called.
Yeah, I don't really expect that sort of stuff to be called here today. Obviously, this is a rivalry game. Everybody's hyped up. The officials are probably just going to let them play for the most part. If you're Charlie Falk, it looked like he was trying to get Jet, but the press was a little bit too much. The throw was meant to get off immediately. That's not what obviously happened there. And Charlie just had to go to his second read, which was Frisbee, but the press came in from LaSalle. I don't know if the prep was expecting that, and it led to the 4th down.
Punt is up and away. And it is going to be fair caught on the 32-yard line. Explorers take possession.
Yeah, there's Owen Johnson right there, and he has been great downfield this season. He has been absolutely incredible. I've been loving what I'm seeing from him. Expect to see him as a deep threat this season, somebody we haven't seen. Maybe the Prep audience, if you're watching for the first time, you haven't seen Owen Johnson, but he has been absolutely incredible this season. Expect to see him as a vertical threat here today. Runs a great post. I would love to, maybe for LaSalle's sake and just for the love of the game, maybe, like to see him get on some punt return, see what he can do.
Sidwar now out here and ready to take it away.
Motion before the snap from
False
Joey
start.
O'Brien. False start.
And, not a great start for LaSalle. Obviously it's very loud in here, so the snap count may not be able to be heard early.
First and 15 here. Got Mahoney wide on the right. O'Brien motions in, comes back out. Now he's going to be wide open in the flat. Only one man on the side right there, and it's Acre. O'Brien will get into open space. Finally pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, so the Prep, they're trying to pressure Sidwar here early, and BR coming off the edge. I was hoping that he was going to get a hand on that ball, but unfortunately was not able to. There's nobody in the Y there on the slot to cover Joey O'Brien, and obviously him in motion. They're going to try and get him the football, kind of similar to what the Prep do with Jet Harrison.
Exactly. I mean, they're just the most dynamic playmaker on the field. You have to get the ball in their hands. It's simple. Sidwar out there. You have Ortiz in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff up the gut. Not much gain, but will the chains move? They do not. 3rd and 1 right here. Correct myself, it was not actually Desmond Ortiz. Azir Nelson gets in there. You'll see kind of that 2-back rotation.
Yeah, Nelson, I think they're going to use him a lot here today. He's just a very raw back. He doesn't really jump cut much. He doesn't really use, a stiff arm spin move. He just runs through his gap, and people are going to bounce right off of him. Not necessarily what happened there, but expect to see that today.
Yeah, he got jammed up, by that vaunted Prep front 7, but now 3rd and 1, first money down of the game against LaSalle.
Money down, you get it, Dom.
Motion from Ortiz, and it's going to go up the gut yet again to Nelson, who breaks into open space. Solid run of 15, moves the Explorers across midfield, deep in the Hawks territory.
I think the Prep just expected a run up the gut there, but a great job from Azir Nelson to realize that there was nobody on the outside, and he just jump cut right there. As I mentioned, not somebody that really jump cuts too much, but he did it there. He was able to pick up a big gain for LaSalle, get on the Prep side of the field.
Good job establishing the run. It's really going to open things up for future Missouri Tiger Sidwar when he has to sling it later in this game when it gets more intense. Opens things up for those big receiving threats, Joey O'Brien, J.P. Oates as well.
Yeah, I think if you're LaSalle, you stay a little conservative to start this game. You don't really want to move things, too quick. I would say, stick to the runs and wait for the Prep to adjust.
Yeah. O'Brien, so on the left, Ortiz, you see motions in onto the line.
Timeout.
Timeout called.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the snap count, the play calls, a lot of it's going to be hard to hear because of the crowd noise. LaSalle hasn't really had to deal with the crowd noise, so neither has the Prep, so you could see similar issues possibly later in the game. But LaSalle hasn't really had to deal with the crowd noise yet this season, and it's getting to them early. But luckily there, you didn't have to give up another false start, and you burned a timeout. But, I mean, what can you really do? You got to get back on the same page if you're Gordon and Sidwar.
Yeah, and something I want to bring up, the Hawks, they played an absolute gauntlet of a non-conference schedule, playing these nationally ranked teams. Good Heritage, Good Counsel, St. Francis, DeMatha. LaSalle did not play that schedule. I mean, games against teams like Salesianum, Malvern, respectable programs, absolutely, but I don't know if they're ready for the type of pressure cooker that can come in these national matchups.
I mean, we'll see. We're definitely going to have to see. LaSalle's moving the ball here early, so, I mean,
Exactly,
we'll
don't want to get ahead of yourself.
We'll see how things keep going.
More pre-snap motion from Ortiz. This time Sidwar is going to drop back, looking across the middle, and now he's in the sideline. It'll be J.P. Oates to Temple Owl. Gets out of bounds with a nice 15-yard gain.
And they tried to test Tyjon Hamilton there early on Owen Johnson. And Hamilton has played great in the games he's been in. Evidently, Good Counsel and Father Judge. But then Sidwar, as I mentioned, he's got to go through his progressions. He's got to stay calm in the pocket here today because the Preps, front four, they don't really get home that early in the game. So if you're Sidwar, you got to stay calm in the pocket. Went through his progressions really, really well and found J.P. Oates there on the drag.
Yeah, Oates, very athletic type of guy, Waldron Mercy product. A lot of good athletes come out of there.
Well,
Ryan Sullivan himself.
Well, now
unfortunately, Ryan Sullivan couldn't dunk in 6th grade like J.P. Oates could.
That is true. That is true. J.P. was a monster back then.
Nelson up the middle yet again, but this time he's swallowed up. You see Alex Haskell in there.
That's a great front first move off the edge from Alex Haskell. That's what you got to do. Swim move, rip through, whatever you got to do. Breaking down at the line of scrimmage, waiting Nelson to get there. As I mentioned, he's not a jump cutter, so he's not going to do that. So he's just going to run through the line. Alex Haskell, evidently, look at the size of that guy. He's obviously going to be able to bring you down.
Yeah, you can run through a gap. You can't run through Alex Haskell.
Nope, not at all. And him and Colton Anderson, who now looks like he's playing the two-tech instead of Shuley, who's actually now on the outside.
Say Haskell, that Penn State commit, and today didn't go so well for Penn State, but I digress.
Yeah.
Obviously a very vaunted program. Sidwar 4 wide, Nelson in the backfield as O'Brien motions in, back out. See that characterized a lot. Sidwell, he's looking to the right, but not O'Brien. He's going to hit Owen Johnson across the middle. He's going to find some open space and get hit hard after getting the first down.
There's that speed from Owen Johnson right there. Beautiful catch. And then the run after the catch was even better. His speed is just absolutely incredible. Obviously, you know, maybe going to be a little bit faster than Jay Nitz.
Hurry up right here.
Now, yeah, hurry up. I mean, stop analyzing the play.
Prep still jogging to their positions, and it is instantly blown up. Nelson spins out of the initial tackle by Haskell. Hardly gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, great job from the prep. Alex Haskell got through the line really early. That's an RPO play. I saw that on film down. The prep, they like to do that RPO, and they like to deliver the screen to the guy on the back of the stack. That's not what they did there. They gave it to Nelson. I don't know if the offensive line was expecting that, so they just let Haskell go.
Yeah, I mean, hurry up. I mean, that comes at the cost of the offensive line maybe not being set up as well.
Right.
They seemed rather unprepared for massive Alex Haskell barreling towards the middle.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's played great so far.
Nelson will motion out and then back in. Sidwar looking to his right. He's going to toss it deep. Joey O'Brien in the end zone. He can't come down with it.
BR Brandon Ross there in the slot. He is one of the best corners in the state of Pennsylvania. One of the most underrated players as we speak. He is absolutely incredible. A great job. As I mentioned, Dom, there's not going to be a lot of penalties called in this game. They're going to let this game go. BR, Brandon Ross, great job creating contact. Got his head around it just at the last second for the flag not to be thrown.
Ross didn't quite turn his head, but that's not often going to be called in this. And, you know, you just saw the seatbelt click in on that fade right there. Ross gets in there, makes O'Brien uncomfortable, gets a hand on it, can't haul it in.
Money down.
Motion from Johnson. Sidwar has it. Bobbles the snap. He's going to look deep this time. And it's nowhere near number 14, Jimmy Mahoney, but I think they're going to call pre-snap holding there. That shouldn't be pass interference. That should be holding, but I see what they're calling.
I think that's what they are going to call. I think there was a bit of a grab there from Tyjon. I mean, you know, maybe the referees expected Mahoney to maybe make a double move and go to the end zone right there. I do understand the penalty. I'm not going to say I don't. I'm not going to, you know, be a homer on that one, but it is still going to be third down.
Yeah, holding, not PI.
Or no, it actually is. Are they going to move the change? Yeah, they are actually.
Yeah, so a bit of a really unfortunate break. You saw that last time the Hawks were at Franklin Field against St. Francis. A lot of unfortunate penalties in pass coverage.
Yeah, I mean, that just happens sometimes. You know, what are you going to do? But if you're St. Joe's Prep, you adjust later in the game. You make sure none of that stuff happens, and we'll see.
Johnson, Mahoney, Nelson, O'Brien goes in motion. Going to feign the jet sweep to him. The ball goes to Nelson, who is swallowed up.
And if you're St. Joe's Prep, great job there. Obviously, Joey O'Brien in motion. You would think he's going to get the football, but it's just a fake to him on the sweep, and then you give it right to Nelson. And this front four for St. Joe's Prep, especially Haskell, Shuley, and Colton Anderson, really getting in there easily, and they've been able to shut down the run for the most part.
Motion in and out from Johnson. Sidwar, he's looking towards Johnson. He has him, and on the out route, but there is a flag down in the backfield.
Yeah, this one's going to come back.
Yeah, it's going to come back for holding. You heard the screams coming from the prep student section. Astute eye.
Very lucky there for the prep. Obviously, you know, the LaSalle gets the holding call. Now the prep going to get that they're holding call of their own. So, you know, I guess it goes both ways. But yeah, definitely a hold there. You saw Jason Nitz have definitely make his presence known. And now, you know, Dom, this is actually second and goal here. So if you're LaSalle, you know, you don't get an opportunity for a first down.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, no opportunity for a first down here. Second and 21, but obviously second and goal as well.
If I'm the prep here, I would, you know, play off. Don't press on the line. I would make sure that none of that really happens. You want to make sure that LaSalle does not get into the end zone on this play. You don't want to give up an explosive play. And now look, the personnel change. I said this on the pregame show. We have Mason Talley playing on the outside corner on Mahoney.
More pre-snap motion as typical. Sidwar, he's looking towards O'Brien. Back corner of the end zone. Double coverage! And it is incomplete. O'Brien hauls it in, but out of bounds there.
That's a great job in coverage. Daryl Jacquet is one of the best players on this prep defense. I personally thought he could have been MVP of the game against Good Counsel, but, I thought John Boggs had, one of the better games there. But Daryl Jacquet is just pushing O'Brien out of bounds on the catch, making sure he didn't get that foot down.
Boggs, just so nice to have him back. Obviously, there is still a rather large options for the prep defense tonight.
Yeah, watch the prep here. LaSalle going trips now. They're going to move JP Oates over, but you got to drop your safeties and drop everyone if you're the prep.
5 wide, 3 on the right, 2 on the left. Sidwar is going to step up in a broken pocket. He's going to shovel it quickly to Joey O'Brien, and he will fall down just over the 10.
That's a great stop if you're St. Joe's prep defense. LaSalle now going to send off the kick team. Only really giving up 3, saying that they make the field goal kick here. Definitely very impressive after the big gains from LaSalle.
Absolutely good work right there, kind of containing them. Salle will come out and kick it now. Kicker Chris Heck for LaSalle. Prep, you're hoping with that special teams, you're hoping for some form of a block. They can make that impact play. But the kick is up by Heck. It is a line drive and no good. Still 0-0 here at Franklin Field. Hawks take possession.
Well, the defense holds up, and that's what you want to see if you're St. Joe's prep. And, great job, and the kick was just off. Thank goodness if you're the Hawks, he stopped that. Stopped LaSalle on 3rd down, and now the prep with an opportunity. He got very lucky.
Good work right there. Falk and his squad, they're going to be out there, and they're looking. They've seen that LaSalle, although they didn't score, can still drive on this defense. And they know they're going to eventually need to support the defensive 11 if they want to win this massive rivalry game for the PCL. You see, they come out 5 wide here. They're ready to shoot. Novotny, Frisbee, Harrison. Phillips goes in motion. He'll come back into the backfield. Then it's Colberdino solo on the right. Handoff here to Billups. He'll go up the middle, try and bounce it outside. Gain of 1.
Yeah, Billups got kind of lost in the shuffle right there. Not really sure if he knew really what gap to jump through after the initial run. I don't know. I mean, the gap just didn't get open there, so if you're Kion, you got to adjust. And I think they are actually going to move the ball up here a little bit.
Oh, generous spot. Appreciate it. So right back here, Hawks coming off that offensive explosion against Father Judge, 58-0. Hopefully they didn't score all their points in that game, and I highly doubt they did. Offense has been looking lethal in the past few weeks. As you see Harrison go in the motion, it'll be him and Colberdino on the right side.
That's going to be a false start.
False start in the wideouts, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the snap count, obviously you're not really going to be able to hear it that well. It's loud in here, and, LaSalle had the problem happen. Now it's going to happen to the prep. It's just going to go both ways, Dom.
Yeah, I was looking at Jed and Simon on that right side. They were 2 steps into their route by the time Folk had that ball.
Right. So, once again, it's just the way it's going to go today. Nothing you really can do.
Yeah, nerves are going to have to be a big part working this out, Big student turnout from both sides here. Blackout from both sides, which is rather odd considering LaSalle's wearing white. But obviously, very impassioned fans here at Franklin Field. Folk fakes the handoff, and it will be Alston Frisbee in open space. Big block from Jet Harrison. Frisbee pushes forward for 20.
That's a really great job from Charlie Falk, staying patient in the pocket there, Dom. And he just lets Frisbee work. Frisbee originally got caught up there in the beginning of his route, but was able to get out on the bubble screen. Charlie delivers it right where he wants it, right in front of him. Jet, obviously a great block as well. I thought Alston was gone right there, but a great play from St. Joe's Prep, an explosive play, and that's what you want to see early.
Yeah, Harrison, he's not above the dirty work there. Top 10 in the class at 28. He'll still get down and make that block downfield.
Sal almost jumped there. Charlie Falk with a very good hard count.
Got the signs up with the emojis and such.
Yeah, that's the that's definitely been helping the prep, I think.
Agreed. Rivalry matchup. Know each other inside and out. Falk across the middle. Novotny. Where else would he be? Takes a big hit and holds on. Move those chains.
Great play there from Rob Novotny. And Charlie Falk, he loves to find Novotny over the middle. He's able to do so there I mean, I love that play right there. Charlie Folk, he fakes it. He looks at Rob Novotny, fires. Now, Novotny did take a hit on that one, but obviously, I mean, look at the size of that guy. He's definitely built for it.
I think it hurts more to hit Rob Novotny.
And honestly, you might not be wrong, but I love that route with Rob Novotny. He does that all the time. And yeah, I got a touchdown off of it last week against Father Judge. And now if you're the Prep, I mean, the clock's running down, but you can keep moving the football.
Traditional 4 out wide. Colberdino Novotny on the right. Frisbee Harrison on the left. Falk pressured. Makes a man miss, and he uncorks it. Deep Jet Harrison one-on-one with Joey O'Brien. Off the hands of Joey O'Brien. Harrison got boxed out there.
Yeah, I mean, Joey O'Brien, obviously the older guy right now. He's going to be a little bit more physical than Jet. Going to have the, physical capacity to box Jet out there. And I think Jet just went a little too far on his route, and he wasn't really able to knock it down. But, if you're the Prep, you're counting your lucky prayers because Joey O'Brien dropped that football.
Yeah. Not the optimal flight path of that ball. Falk was pressured, kind of gave a bit of a moon ball to Harrison, which O'Brien was able to get under. Really scary hours for a guy in Joey O'Brien who normally hauls those things in like it's candy.
Right.
But Falk back out there, 2nd and 10. Takes the handoff to Billups. It's going to be Novotny down low. Ball is tipped, incomplete.
They're sending the pressure, LaSalle. They are going to send it on Charlie Falk, and Charlie did a great job on the last play, just evading that and delivering the ball down the Jet. Obviously, he wasn't really in the pocket, so the throw was a little short, but nonetheless, Charlie's done a great job of evading the pressure thus far. It was just unfortunate that the pass was tipped there.
Yeah, I mean, offensive line, kind of most inexperienced part of this Prep team. Obviously have Namlin and Molly, who are great, but guys like Contreras, Landers, Barth, and Oler, all, I mean, their first year in this major starting role. Falk has 3 to his right. Harrison, of course, alone. Falk steps up in the pocket. Heavy pressure. Good block by Kion Billups. He tries to find Novotny, and a flag is thrown. Believe that may be holding.
Yeah, I think that's going to be on the Prep. Yeah,
Complimented the block pickup by Billups, but I think it eventually transitioned into a hold right there.
And, I mean, if you're Charlie Falk at St. Joe's Prep, not really much you can do. The pressure's just mounting on you. The receivers, unfortunately didn't get open there downfield. And if you're St. Joe's Prep, I mean, it was a very decent drive. You got past midfield. You're going to hopefully pin LaSalle back deep in their own territory. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Unfortunate right there to give it away, but Hawks will be ready to bounce back. I think Cochran.
They're sending the pressure, though, LaSalle. That's a false start.
False start, yep.
And once again, I mean, it's just the thing with the snap count. It is so loud in here to the point where the snap count is just, it hurts if you're St. Joe's Prep.
Punt is close, but it has gotten away. Owen Johnson doesn't. They call. Owen Johnson gets hammered hard, can't get the ball. There's a fumble. I do not.
No, that's going to be a flag on the Prep. I believe Owen Johnson, he called a fair catch.
Mason Talley clearly did not think he called a fair catch as he lights up Owen Johnson.
We'll see if they still call this. Coach Roken obviously not too happy about it.
Look, you see this kind of where fair catches in high school almost get assumed, and they kind of get lazy with waving their hands, but I did not see it. I just saw Owen Johnson getting lit up.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to Talley. If he didn't see it, then he's going to make the hit. Coach Roken obviously agreed with Talley there. So, I mean, we'll see if they pick this up or not. They're discussing it.
Yeah, Coach Roken, I mean, he knows when his players are right or wrong. He's going to stick by them when they're right. If he says that fair catch wasn't called, I tend to believe him.
I think they are going to call it, though.
Of course, you can't call that penalty back and say, there's no way they can call that penalty back, but I just wish there was a bit more awareness.
I mean, for the Prep, there's not much of a difference. It's the 20 and the 34.
Yeah.
So it's not that much of a. It's not that much of a loss, in my opinion.
Set the tone of a rivalry game.
Yeah, definitely setting the tone. I mean,
AJ Farrington always tells me about that in those Prep LaSalle rugby matches.
Indeed, indeed.
Back out here now, Sidwar. That's Nelson in the backfield. We're going to have O'Brien, Mahoney, motion from Ortiz. Hand off to Nelson. It's going to be a little counter. He manages to slip out of the grasp with Brandon Ross before being brought out of bounds by Brandon Lockley.
Yeah, just an unfortunate missed tackle there for BR. He went a little bit late on the ankle dive, but not much you can do there. It was a bit of an awkward handoff to start. But, you know, great job by Azir Nelson. Realized that there wasn't the gap wasn't open, the A gap, and he just bounced to the outside.
Yeah, Lockley, he fully extended. I mean, not Lockley. Ross fully extended there for that tackle. Just Nelson got around it. Impressive work by the guy. O'Brien, Mahoney.
Yeah, it's going to be an offsides.
Yep. Offsides. Not what you want to see right there.
And even for the defense, the snap count's going to be hard. You know, you hear it.
Noise goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it. Maybe you don't hear it, and you jump. You think you hear it. Obviously, the noise is, you know, a thing. The student sections, I mean, they are loud. You look at LaSalle's over there, and then the Preps is obviously, you know, just as big, maybe even bigger if we were counting numbers here.
We always count numbers against LaSalle.
That is true.
Prep student section is way bigger than LaSalle.
I think the Prep have over 250. So, I mean, we'll see.
See, the typical 4 wideouts out there, it's going to be Johnson, Oates, O'Brien, Mahoney. Takes hand off to Nelson. Sidwell, he's looking across the middle. It's going to be behind Joey O'Brien. Incomplete.
Yeah, and just I think Sidwell just felt the pressure a little bit. The front two, that being Haskell and Colton Anderson, getting a little bit in his face right there. Sidward, nice job to get it away. He found Joey, went through his progressions. I think he just got a little bit pressured there. And he found Joey, but unfortunately delivered it over his head.
Yeah, you know, Sidwar, he's taken some heavy hits historically in these Prep LaSalle games. And you understand, you know, if that pressure can get a bit scary for him behind under center.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously the pressure mounting on both quarterbacks early.
Motion from Oates.
False start.
Flag thrown. False start.
There, I mean, I sound like a broken record saying it, Dom. It's
They're
loud.
scared.
It's loud. There's going to be stuff like that. So, I mean, there's not much you can do if you're LaSalle or the Prep. You just gotta focus in. You gotta lock it in. There's, you know, you gotta listen to the snap count. You gotta know what it is from your quarterback, and you jump when the ball goes away.
Yeah, you know, minute 26 here in the first, still 0-0. You know, this building at Franklin Field here in University City, it is going to be raucous when one team finally breaks this tie.
I think it's also a respect thing. You know, you want to get that initial jump early.
I agree. Nelson gets jammed up the middle, manages to push himself forward, wills himself into a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, I saw the B gap open right there, Dom. And Azir Nelson, it looked like his original gap was supposed to be the A, but then he jump cuts right to the B. An incredible job from him. It was open, and I mean, he took it. If you're St. Joe's Prep, you know, you tried pinching through the middle because LaSalle, they typically like to run up the gut with Nelson. But Nelson today has done a really great job jump cutting and getting those extra yards as he did there, but now it's money down.
Massive down right here, 3rd and 8. Motion from J.P. Oates right there. Sidwar looking to his right. Johnson across the middle on the slant. Those chains will move.
No, they will not.
They will not?
Well, LaSalle, they're definitely going for this.
LaSalle's going for it.
It's a rivalry game.
4th and 1 in Prep territory.
And I just want to say, great job by Messiah. Obviously, he got beat off the line, off the break from Owen Johnson. Did a really nice job on his break inside, but a great job from Messiah to make up for it and get the immediate tackle. And now we'll see if the Prep can stop him.
Yeah, and catching up to Owen Johnson's speed. No easy task. Hawks ready for it here. 4th and 1.
They don't have to snap it, LaSalle.
Certainly don't.
They won't.
They will let the first quarter run out here at Franklin Field. 0-0, but plenty of excitement left to be had here as the Explorers and the Hawks locked into a tight duel.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, this has really been a defensive first quarter for both teams. I think both offenses are just trying to get accustomed to the loud crowd noises. Obviously, you got new players playing on the field for both teams, so they got to get accustomed to it. They've obviously never been really in this situation. You know, obviously some of these guys who are seniors and juniors first getting their starts, you know, they might not be accustomed to it because, you know, they didn't necessarily get the playing time that they are getting this season. So I think if you're St. Joe's Prep right now and LaSalle, you just got to get accustomed to the noise. You got to get accustomed to the big to the big moments. And, I mean, I think so far both defenses have been able to do that, both the Prep and LaSalle getting key stops in key moments. And it's been a great game so far. A lot of big plays, and obviously the defenses have really come through.
Absolutely. Big rivalry, and it is going to be just a big-time moment for everyone really involved.
And now LaSalle, I mean, they're going to go for it. I don't blame them at all. You know,
You have to in a rivalry game.
Indeed, and also
Getting this massive.
There's also no guarantee that you're going to be able to punt St. Joe's Prep way back in the end zone. And based off the way your defense is playing, I don't blame you.
Motion from O'Brien out wide out of the trip set. Sidwar looking, gets Mahoney.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure once again coming in on Sidwar, and that's what Coach Sugden's really trying to emphasize here. They're trying to get Sidwar under pressure. They're going to try and force him into mistakes, and he hasn't made any so far.
Yeah, you know, great tackle by Mason Talley right there. Got in right at the legs of Mahoney, but rather unfortunate, could not get there before the first down was achieved. Going to see Mahoney and Oates out to the left now with Johnson and O'Brien together on the right. Nelson in the back. Ortiz going to pick up a block. It's going to go across the middle. Joey O'Brien on the deep cross. 25-yard gain as the Explorers punch it into the red zone.
And the front four, they got home, but Gavin Sidwar found his favorite target, Joey O'Brien, and whenever time Sidwar's in trouble, he can easily just go to O'Brien as he does there. And, you know, that one-on-one Brendan Flaherty, O'Brien stayed in front of him, went up, got the catch. I don't know if Flaherty was expecting it, but a really nice job there from Gavin Sidwar and his favorite target.
Absolutely.
The hard count. They tried to get the Prep to jump again.
Hard count. Oates on the line here now. Ortiz in the backfield, the Brown commit, Ivy League man. Sidwar looking to the left, back corner, Joey O'Brien, incomplete.
BR once again there in the slot, and they tried the same route they did in the first half. Joey O'Brien on that fade, and BR once again just right there. Didn't necessarily get his head around there, but he trusted that he was going to be able to get his hands up and possibly force Joey O'Brien into a mistake as he did there. O'Brien mistimed that ball a bit.
Yeah, BR, that back shoulder one-on-one ball with O'Brien. They've tried him twice. They've doubted him twice, and both times he's proven him wrong. Managed to force the incompletion there yet again.
It's very interesting how they keep they keep with O'Brien in the slot, and we typically see Joey on the outside. I mean, both teams are really showing they can pull out different packages.
Yeah, 2nd and 10, ball in the 12 here. Seeing more of Ortiz. You see Oates motioning. Sidwar, he's looking towards O'Brien yet again, but there's pressure. He's going to have to roll out to his right, forced to throw it away deep into the. But there's a flag thrown in the end zone away from the ball. We'll see what that is in a second.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be holding on St. Joe's Prep. Masai just kind of rolled his head back a little bit. I mean, it's evident he didn't like the call, but it is going to be holding. But the front four, once again, getting home, and there was good coverage downfield, and a great job from the Prep to get in on Sidwar. Just unfortunate you're going to have the holding call in this territory.
Absolutely. It's really not what you want to see, especially when LaSalle, they have that first down marker at the 2. They can just get renewed right here as it is 2nd and 4 on the 6-yard line.
And we'll see now LaSalle. I mean, it's 2nd down. You're in a very favorable position, kind of in the same position you were in the last go-around on the goal line. But we'll see if LaSalle can punch it in this go-around. I mean, it's looking good. They've been driving.
Will LaSalle strike first? 6 yards away from finding Paydar. Right side fade, no good.
And they try to test Tyjon Hamilton once again, but he is not broken on the first 2 balls that have been thrown his way. They just try to give him one-on-one with Owen Johnson, and marginal contact made from both guys. Johnson didn't think he was going to be able to get the pass interference call. The ball was obviously high. Sidwar expected Johnson to go up and get it, but made a really nice play there. Tyjon Hamilton once again.
Stepping up big time in the absence. Smaj Hill, who is dearly missed right now, as you see. Daryl Jacquez come on out there. He's been a big figure in that secondary as well.
Yeah, and then New LaSalle's going to give him the package here with 3 wide, and it seems like another call timeout.
3rd and 4, timeout.
Well, they'll probably give him the same package. I think that there definitely will be more receivers going out, that being J.P. Oates. It looks like he's coming off the line there. I doubt that they run the ball here. So, LaSalle's going to give him a nice package to see, and if you're the Prep, you need all the defensive backs he can get.
Absolutely, getting very intense here into the nitty-gritty. This is by no means going to be a blowout for either team. Whoever strikes first, though, gains a massive advantage.
Yeah, indeed. You get the student section. I mean, if LaSalle are able to score here, their student section is going to roar. And you know it. I mean, look at the amount of kids that are there. So if you're LaSalle, you get that boost of energy. Your whole side is going to go absolutely ballistic. So you get that boost of energy. But if you're the Prep, I mean, you can't get too high on the highs. You can't get too lows on the lows. That's what Coach Roken told Anthony Sorgi and I the other day. You just got to stay calm.
Coach Roken, he's a winner.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He knows how to do
before,
that.
He'll do it again, and hopefully he'll do it today in Franklin Field.
Yeah, let's see. Money down.
Sidwell motions Ortiz. Brown commit will come right back to him. Looking to his right, man in there. Across the middle, Joey O'Brien opens the scoring up with a slant in the dead center of the Penn logo.
And they once again tried to send the pressure to Sidwar, but he just found O'Brien once again one-on-one. And, Joey, one of the most athletic player, actually the most athletic player in the state of Pennsylvania. And he's going to make that catch 9 times out of 10. And that was the one time, one of the few times he's going to make it.
Absolutely. I mean, Joey O'Brien, if he did not score or get a takeaway, I would be absolutely flabbergasted. I mean, he is really the heart and soul of this LaSalle team, as heck manages to put in his second attempt.
Yep, and if you're the Prep, I mean, you look at their sideline, they don't look too down, and as I just said, can't get too high on the highs, can't get too low on the lows.
Not the first time the Hawks have been at a deficit.
No, not at all. I mean, the Prep, they faced deficits of St. Francis to, Heritage, they were up, but they, it felt like they were down in the second half.
Yeah, what I think you're trying to say is they've battled against
adversity.
They've battled when momentum has not been in their
Right.
favor.
And I think the pressure is getting there. It's getting to Gavin Sidwar, and if the secondary can just stay, on coverage just a tiny bit more for a split second, Sidwar's on the ground for many of those plays.
And, it's interesting. Obviously, Prep, major part of their identity is the urban Jesuit education. This is the game at Franklin Field in the city. Second LaSalle game, bit more in their favor. It's out at Villanova in the suburbs.
Right.
This is the closest to a home game that the Prep really gets.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for them to capitalize on what should be a slightly more favorable environment than out in the suburbs.
So I doubt right here, and you hit it on the nose down, but I doubt they kick this one to Messiah Akery. They know they don't want to get this to him, but I think the Prep, they're going to try and get Messiah the ball. Yep, that's what they're going to do.
So I will take it right here. And he will be brought down by the first wall defenders at the 16-yard line.
And that's just great job there from LaSalle getting through the blockers of St. Joe's Prep. And, the Prep have been pretty decent on special teams this season. I think that definitely Coach Roken's going to be looking at that and try and clean something like that up at halftime, the blocking.
Absolutely, Coach Roken, he's going to come out of halftime. He's getting a read on what LaSalle's changed since the last time they played, really ready to adjust and make sure this team comes out sharp in the second half. But there's still 10 minutes of this second quarter to be played, and I anticipate at the end of it, the Hawks will be leading.
So this is interesting right here, Dom. You got a trip set, Harrison one-on-one, no safety over top of them. It's going to be very interesting to see if they go there.
Vaughn, the extra blocker on the line. They go to Harrison one-on-one. And he will turn up the sideline, get plenty of room. 18-yard gain for the one and only.
I just called it. Right there. They gave him a trip set. They are realizing that LaSalle, they're going to put a safety over top of Jet when he has his own side. So if you're Coach Sugg, then you say, all right, I'm just going to give you a trip set. You're going to have to go one-on-one. And with Jet Harrison, I mean, not many people win one-on-ones against him. And he did a great job turning upfield as well. Hit the sideline. Everything that he did that was fundamentally correct.
When he has that one-on-one again, it's really going to be him versus Trey Hopkins right there. And now you have Novotny still in line. Colberdino out wide. Volk, he's scanning. He has a pretty comfortable pocket. He'll hit Harrison across the middle of the field. Tackled by O'Brien right at the first down marker. He will be half a yard short.
And Coach Roken, he definitely wanted a hit there from Joey O'Brien. That hit definitely looked a bit high. But a great job from Jet to come down and get that one even after the big hit.
Yeah, and Charlie for staying composed after his initial reads weren't there. Found Jet across the middle of the field. Billups now in. Haven't seen too much of Kai Billups today.
No,
the
I mean,
the Monmouth man, you'd like to see him get up the gut and really find something in the gaps.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do so.
We'll take it right here and get some room. Great open field tackle by, want to say who it was? Joey O'Brien.
Oh, yeah, Joey O'Brien. I had to process what you said there, Don, but a great inside block from Alston Frisbee, and Kion, you know, he just went back just enough to get that first down.
Star underclassman Elam Tootle coming out there. Already has some offers, you know. See if his dynamic athleticism can bring something new to the game. Capiche. Faulkner back out there, going to hard count. Looks back at coordinator Sugden. Colberdino, Harrison, Novotny get close as they get closer to the line. You see Frisbee one-on-one with Hopkins.
And no safety over top from Joey O'Brien playing single high. This is when LaSalle likes to send pressure here, though, Dom.
Helps in the backfield. Fake the play action, looking for Frisbee one-on-one. He gets it on the sideline. Hopkins beat multiple times on this drive.
And the Prep, they are repeatedly going to the one-on-one. They get Alston Frisbee right there, and you saw O'Brien. They made him choose a side of the field. And Charlie, what he did was, he said, okay, Joey, what side are you going to choose? He chose the left side, so then Charlie threw to the right side. Alston Frisbee one-on-one.
Absolutely, Alston Frisbee, very impressive in what has been his wide receiver 2 role this year.
And now, once again, look, you see a spread.
Right there. Little screen to Alston Frisbee, wide receiver across the middle, but he is wrapped up by a sea of gold.
I mean, that's better than what I expected on that play there, Dom. Frisbee broke the original tackle, gets 4 or 5 yards. It looks more to 5 to me. I expected Jet there on the motion. I expected him to run that corner route, and Charlie was going to get it to him, but then he threw a really nice screen to Frisbee. And give credit to Alston. I mean, 2 straight catches, really made some big plays, and 5 yards on first down. I think you'll take it if you're St. Joe's Prep. And now, once again, they're going to make Joey choose a side here as he's the single high.
Jet.
Or actually, no, they actually play in cover 2, so I apologize for that.
Oh, come on, man.
That's my
Misinforming
fault.
the viewers.
Yeah, that's my
But
fault.
Jet Harrison, Hopkins very close to him on that line right there. I mean,
right.
Maybe just a yard of separation right there.
Yep.
Big hand off to Billups. Looking for Jet Harrison. Double coverage in the end zone. Over his head by the bottom right pylon. Could have had that if it was a little closer, but not going to critique through double coverage.
Yeah, so right there, Charlie Falk, he's looking at Jet the whole time, and I think he's thinking that Joey is going to choose the other side because there's more receivers there, so he's expecting to get Jet one-on-one, but Joey O'Brien, I mean, his instinct there was really great. He knew that Jet was probably going to get the ball, so he committed right to him, and he ended up choosing right as Charlie tried to get Jet there in the end zone.
Joey, I mean, he chooses right a lot of the time. He even has a background in 7-on-7 football, plays out a lot, you know, more space to cover, and he's used to it. Falk looking out wide to Frisbee, hits him in both hands, but it's too wide and he can't haul it in.
That is so unfortunate if you're Alston Frisbee. You had green grass right in front of you. Now, the throw was a little bit high, but I think you still got to come down with that. And, you know, if you're the Prep, just a bit of miscommunication right there, something that you can get fixed. But if I'm the Hawks, I'm definitely going for this. I'm not, you know, trying to kick a field goal or punt this one away.
Yeah. You have to respond to LaSalle's fire with even more fire.
And once again, Jet, he's at least going to get a look. They're going to make this trip set. And there's a referee whistle, though.
See what that is all about.
All right, well, we're good, but they're going to make LaSalle choose here on who they want to guard. If you double Jet, you're going to get somebody open.
Absolutely, and you know everyone else on this offense, Novotny, Colberdino, Frisbee, they can make it work. You see the trip set out to the left.
Right, exactly, and as I just said, they're going to make the single high safety choose what side he wants to go to.
It's going to be Frisbee this time one-on-one. Good block pick up by Billups. He's looking Harrison high, and it is low. Nothing called, and the special teams will come out.
No, it's a turnover down.
Sorry, defense will come out.
It's all good. But, I mean, once again, they made him choose, and just a bit of a high throw there from Charlie Falk. Jet not really able to get open on that one, but it's all right. It's all right.
Good physical coverage. Again, the type of stuff you're used to seeing in a rivalry game. Hits Jet a bit early in the back, but that's not going to be called. And honestly, the Prep's going to get the same leeway, so no point in complaining about it.
No, not at all. I mean, it was a good drive for St. Joe's Prep. It's just now you got to finish. And the Prep, they're proven to be able to get down the field. Let's see if they're able to finish on the next drive. But the defense, they got to come up here. They've had a pretty good break.
Absolutely. Handoff up the middle. That's in the second level. It's Ortiz pushing forward for 7.
And John Boggs, he chooses the right gap there, but just broke down a bit too early on the tackle and wasn't able to finish there. You could have had Ortiz in the backfield, but if you're the Prep, they're getting a little bit antsy here when it comes to breaking down. You just got to stay calm, stay cool, break down at the right time, wrap up. That could have been blown up if you're St. Joe's Prep. I think you got lucky there if you're LaSalle.
Absolutely. Could have gone much worse right there. Been blown up right in the gap. Hard count right there. See Oates, he's kind of working in that tight end role a bit, being a lot more on the line. Ortiz handoff yet again, bit of an outside zone right here. Nice wrap-up tackle.
Hey, it looked like an RPO there. Gavin Sibwart shows right. The gap opened up, and
John Boggs, wrap up.
Yeah, John Boggs did a really great job there. And if you're St. Joe's Prep.
Boggsy.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin Sibwart making the right decisions today. He has done really well in the pocket. I mean, obviously right there, looked like it was going to be an RPO. He handed the ball off right. LaSalle's run blocking has been really great so far this season.
Absolutely, you know, Explorers going to break the huddle here now on their own 40. 60 yards to go till pay dirt yet again. Motion from O'Brien. Will come back out. Ortiz gets it yet again, wrapped up by John Boggs yet again.
Another bit of an awkward snap there from Sibwar. I don't know if Ortiz expected it or maybe, you know, Sibwar didn't expect it. Not necessarily sure, but a great job there from John Boggs. Once again, the breakdown's a little bit too early, but you're not going to complain if you're St. Joe's Prep. They got the tackle in the backfield.
Absolutely. A lot of discussion here in the huddle after that loss of 1. Boggs, you know, being back from injury so massive for this Prep defense. Really the quarterback of it. Directing traffic. See a lot of motion from Oates. Temple Owl right there. Sidwar, he's looking to uncork deep down the field for Mahoney. Dead in the breadbasket, and he drops it.
Well, they tested Tyjon Hamilton again, and this time Mahoney was able to beat him there off the line of scrimmage. And if you're Hamilton, not much you can do.
Unfortunately, we're playing football and not running track.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it. But, you know, if you're Mahoney, you got to bring that in. There's no other way to put it here. It's money down, though. But, you know, that's the one time LaSalle beat Tyjon Hamilton there off the line of scrimmage. And I'm a little concerned that they might keep going there to the well. If you're the Prep, you might have to give them a little bit of help. But as we're saying up here in the booth, it's money down.
And you know, Sidwar, obviously, I'll give him credit where it's due, at least the top 2 quarterback in the PCL.
Let's see what he can do here. He's played really great today.
The reason Missouri wants him, produced very nice quarterbacks in the past. Brady Cook, Drew Locke. Now, see Sidwar here, 3rd and 11 in his own territory. What is he going to cook up? Across the middle, throw for 2 yards to Joey O'Brien. 4th and 9.
And now if you're LaSalle, I mean, I would think you're going to punt this one away, or they could do the thing where, I thought they were going to do the thing where Sidwar punts the ball away, but they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, the Prep, really nice job there. I'm not really sure Sidwar, his first reads weren't there, so he had to go to O'Brien in the slot. And, you know, if you're O'Brien, you want to try and break that tackle and go for the first down. That's what he's expected to do as the last option there on that route. But, you know, great job from BR to make the open field tackle.
Allman back there to return. Scholar, Mr. Whelan's public speaking. Punt is very nearly blocked. Clear, fair catch by Almond. It's going to drop and be a fumble recovered by LaSalle.
And let's see if it touched Kyle. Let's see.
I don't think Kyle touched it.
Yeah, well,
there was a LaSalle player on top of him.
They're going to decide that. I'm not necessarily sure. I don't think they'll give a catch interference.
Yet there was a guy directly in Kyle's mitt the entire time he was trying to catch that.
I don't think that matters unless they actually touch him, Dom.
I don't think Allman touched the ball, though.
Yeah, but we're going to see what they call.
Seems to be a lot of confusion. I don't think either side's explicitly celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just waiting. Then they're going to hold up here. I think they're going to make a decision.
They are going to rule it in favor of the Explorers. LaSalle takes possession deep in Hawks territory.
Yeah, I mean,
a bad, unfortunate special teams miscue. Obviously a bit of controversy, but regardless, still can't be having that.
I mean, yeah, you just couldn't see it from this angle, Dom, and, you know, I don't think anybody could really necessarily 100% put it down. There's obviously no replay in high school football, so, you know, you just got to trust that what the officials are saying is right, and just that's just so unfortunate if you're St. Joe's Prep. You were expecting to get the offense on the field. You know, the defense had to stop. You know, you could have got the ball in the 30, but, you know, the defense got to come back out here, and we'll see if they're able to stop LaSalle once again.
Absolutely. 4 wide as usual. Mahoney, Johnson, O'Brien, Oates. Ortiz in the backfield. You see a lot more of him than Nelson recently.
Timeout.
Timeout is called. Timeout for the Hawks. We are back on WSJP. A little bit of a camera malfunction right there. Bumped up the brightness, you know.
Yeah, we just got to fix things up. You know, a little bit of tweaks to make the broadcast as smooth as possible for the viewer.
Color commentator Ryan Sullivan has said, "Let there be light."
Let there be light. I don't know one time I've said that, but sure.
Says it all the time.
Do I? Okay. Well, I guess for today that's what we're doing.
Motion from Ortiz in the backfield as usual. We'll come right back to Sidwar's side on this 1st and 10. Solidly in the Hawks' territory, deflected by Colton Anderson.
And that a great job from Sidwar. Great instinct to just knock it down instead of, you know, take it himself or, you know, maybe possibly even hit it up in the air. So that's just a great job from St. Joe's Prep to tip it. It looked like it was going to be a screen, and that's what you want to do to start this drive.
Absolutely. You know, Anderson gets in there, makes Sidwar uncomfortable on the attempt to really break that down, and it was just great work from the captain, Cornell man, for a reason.
Yeah, indeed. Colton Anderson, he's played more of the 3-tech here today instead of the 6-tech on the outside, and they've moved Shuley to where Anderson would be, that being the 6-tech. So this is so it's pretty interesting today.
Really waiting for some presidential pressure to be put on Sidwar.
And now it looks like it's going to be a 3-man run. Jason Nitz coming back from the Leo. Watch him.
Looking right side, testing Hamilton yet again. He breaks it up, no flag. Hamilton continues to be tested and ace it.
And there's marginal contact right there, so that's not a penalty there, Dom. Both guys got equal contact on each other, so and that's just a great play from Hamilton. Didn't necessarily get his head back, but he's trusting that the referee's not going to throw a flag because there's marginal contact there, and he breaks up the pass.
Hamilton and Ross showing up nicely in a massive spot for the team.
And now, once again, money down, and you know, if you're the special teams, you're really thanking the defense if they can get off the field right here, but they got to do so first.
Yeah. I mean, these are the 2 top of the PCL. I mean, top 2 of 3, you could say, though, after Roman, big upset.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Samaj Beals and his guys, very impressive recently.
And watch, they got Hamilton on Owen Johnson, but they're going to give him a bit of help with Flaherty.
Yeah.
And now the trip set, something to watch out for.
Mahoney will motion out.
They got to watch him.
And he will come back into the trip set. Sidwar looking towards his right. It's going to be O'Brien on a drag across the middle of the field. He is going to go inside the 10-yard line before finally being hauled down by Dario Jacques.
Yeah, I mean, John Boggs just there one-on-one, and LaSalle kind of giving the Prep a taste of their own medicine. They're forcing them to choose where they really want to defend, and John Boggs just got put there on Joey O'Brien. And you got to give Joey credit where credit is due. He was able to break the ankle bite tackle and go for a lot of extra yards. It's now 1st and goal.
Absolutely. LaSalle back on the Prep 8-yard line, deep in the red zone, already up 7. Hawks really don't want to be fighting from behind here, especially because they received to start this game.
Watch Joey on this fade.
Ortiz gets the handoff, but whistles are blown.
False start.
False start. Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, they're continuing with this formation, and the prep, they're continuing to send pressure on Gavin Sidwar, but once again, you got to watch Joey O'Brien in the slot. He's repeatedly been there this game, and they're matching him up with BR, and BR so far has done a half-decent job, but Joey O'Brien can come down and make a play any single time.
Back in the huddle here are the Explorers.
And now if you're the prep, I mean, first and goal, the false start definitely helps, but holding them to a field goal would definitely be a big break, especially after the special teams miscue.
Absolutely. Just an absolute crusher in a game of margins, which is a rivalry. Sidwar takes it here. He's looking end zone. O'Brien tries to arch his head, but it's too back shoulder. Can't get it.
Yeah, well, I think Sidwar expected Joey to fade out a little bit more on the fade. But, just a bit of miscommunication there from both guys. Maybe Sidwar didn't deliver the pass correct, or maybe Joey, didn't go out enough on the route, on the fade. We'll really never know.
Absolutely. He really had to crane his neck to try and get that over-the-shoulder ball instead of turning to try and grab it. And Sidwar just kind of placed it in an awkward spot for him, although certainly his ball placement has been good tonight.
No doubt about it. He's played great tonight, especially under the pressure that the prep are giving him.
Exactly. Last year in their loss to the prep, LaSalle's offense not too potent, but Ortiz right now, he's pushing forward, and he will get 5. Explorers are now at the 7.
I like that call if you're LaSalle. And obviously, so I thought there was extracurricular activity, but never mind.
Extracurricular activity? That doesn't happen at prep LaSalle.
Well,
Gentlemen's game.
it's
Gentlemen's
expected.
game.
But anyway, I think that was a good call there from LaSalle. You just want to get closer to the line, and Ortiz and Nelson, they've done a really good job, just picking up the dirty yards, the tough yards, and they've been able to do that thus far. You got to give credit where credit is due, and it gets them inside the 10.
Absolutely. You see Sidwar. He's going to drop back out there. Have Mahoney, O'Brien, Oates on the left. Ortiz in the backfield. They'll fake the handoff to him and go to Johnson across the middle on a slant. He hauls it in for the second LaSalle touchdown of the game. 13-0 here at Franklin Field, as the Hawks can't seem to stop the Explorers.
And once again, they test Hamilton, and they got him there. Got to give LaSalle credit where credit is due. They go right to Owen Johnson, and that snap out of his break was really, really good. And Sidwar, as I mentioned, not making too many mistakes here today. He delivers a great ball for a touchdown for LaSalle.
Absolutely. Sidwar hits him right off the break, and Johnson, nice, mean cut inside. Has Hamilton slipping, and the extra point is good.
And now if you're the prep, your offense has got to come back out there. You've had enough time to game plan. You've had enough rest back on the sideline. So if you're that offense, you got to get back out there, and you got to find a way to even put a little bit of points on the board. You're not getting the ball in the second half.
Absolutely. The Hawks cannot afford to give this ball back to LaSalle for the second half down 14-0 with all the momentum in the Explorers' hands. This drive is absolutely crucial. They need to run this 2-minute drill to perfection and come away with at least a field goal. Really, a touchdown is what they need. Can't have this be like the St. Francis game where it was too little, too late. They need to come back out and start roaring. Only down 14-0. They've made it work from greater adversity. You just have to see them do it in practice, especially in a rivalry environment.
Yeah, this game is evidently not over. It's not like it's the fourth quarter, it's the second quarter. And it's only a 2-score game. If you're the prep, we've seen them, have the offense turn it on and, a split second. One drive, the offense not really that great, but then the next drive, they look like top offense in the country.
A squib kick is snagged by Messiah Acree, who was hauled down at the prep zone 5. There was confusion between Acree and Jacoby Martin on who was going to recover that squib kick, it seemed. Both of them ran past it.
And that's just miscommunication, and the special teams miscues really, really mounting here on the prep. A play, the drive that you could have started possibly on the 25-30 is now right back on the 5-yard line. Not very great for your offense, who hasn't been able to score, hasn't even gotten into the red zone yet, and you're expecting them to do it with 2 minutes. But something I will say is that the prep, they practice a 2-minute drill a lot. They practice a 2-minute drill. We saw it down in Florida. They were doing 2-minute drill. Go, go, go. So it's not like they're, a stranger to this type of environment starting deep in their own territory with 2 minutes remaining on the clock and all 3 timeouts.
Falk takes it. He looks left side. Going to be over the head of Kion Billups.
And the pressure just mounting once again there on Charlie, and didn't have anybody open downfield. He had to get rid of the ball. That play kind of developing a bit late. So if you're Charlie, you just got to get it away, get it to your dump-off man, that being Kion Billups. And, don't want that pass possibly to be intercepted, so I don't blame Charlie just getting it away out of bounds.
Agreed, but really, just that special teams mishap is a killer.
No, I mean, yeah, it's rough for St. Joe's Prep. The muff catch there by Allman, and now, getting pinned on your own 5-yard line. These are just mental mishaps that you just got to get locked in for.
2nd and 10 here. Deep in the coffin corner, it goes to Harrison. Who else? But he gets wrapped around the ankle by Trey Hopkins, only a gain of 5.
Yeah, I mean, they really haven't been able to stop Jet that much on the one-on-one, especially on the hitch or maybe the slant. But a very nice open field tackle. Jet tried to spin to the outside, something that we typically see him do. It's just on that go-around, he wasn't able to do so. But if you're the prep here, you might need to take a shot downfield. I mean, 1:37 remaining. Even if you get the first down here, you're probably only going to have about a minute when you get back to the line of scrimmage. LaSalle, while their offense is moving, they only have 1 timeout, and you could possibly make it.
Exactly. You're below a minute 30 here now. They need to put the pedal to the metal. Falk steps up in the pocket. He's pressured. He's going to look left sideline. Jet Harrison toe tap out of bounds. Move those chains.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at Jet there on the sideline, and he knew the whole time that Charlie was going to get him the football. He just stood there, didn't really necessarily have to move. That's just the connection that those two have. Another catch there for Jet Harrison, and he is really making some big plays. But if you're the prep now, I mean, it's a great thing you get the clock stopped. You still have, or actually you have 2 timeouts now. You burned 1 early. So, I mean, 2 timeouts. You're on the 25-yard line. This is definitely doable if you're St. Joe's Prep. The explosive plays just got to keep coming.
Absolutely.
And once again, they're going to force Joey to choose right here with Jet one-on-one.
Jet one-on-one. Your usual of Novotny, Frisbee, and Colberdino out on the left. Haven't seen many more offensive option rotations. Saw a bit of Amin Williams earlier in this game. Falk. Pressured, steps around it. Now he has Harrison across the middle on a drag. He's going to move up the sideline, step out of bounds for a gain of 8.
That's another great play by Jet Harrison, and Charlie just able to find him as he escapes the pocket. These plays are quick developing, and they've been able to save some time. Only took 7 seconds off there. You're kind of moving the ball now if you're St. Joseph's Prep. You get past the 30, 2nd down and around 2. I mean, once again, they're going to force LaSalle to choose. Who do you want to guard? Do you want to guard Jet one-on-one, or do you want to give the possible opportunity to somebody else to catch the football?
Now it's Colberdino isolated on the left. You wonder when that deep shot comes. Protection solid for Falk. He looks deep. Alston Frisbee overthrown by a hair.
And that was a touchdown as we know it. And I think Charlie just got a bit excited there. We saw something. LaSalle did that earlier. And now it happens to the prep where, the quarterback just gets a little bit excited. And it happens there to Charlie Falk just a bit in front of Alston Frisbee. It's going to happen to both teams.
Yeah, that is backbreaking for a team that desperately needs momentum right now. Alston Frisbee could have walked down a Broadway red carpet for that touchdown.
Timeout. LaSalle burns their final one. I mean, that's an interesting call, with a 3rd down. And, you could possibly get the ball back here with just over a minute remaining. Very interesting call to use your timeout here. But we'll see if it works out. Maybe making the prep adjust their formation just a little bit. We'll see.
Absolutely, and I have to agree with you right there. But I think LaSalle's rationale is kind of, if prep doesn't get this, they could always just burn 40. They could always just burn plenty of time off the clock, give it back to LaSalle with 10. A minute with no timeouts, much more preferable.
Yeah, and if you're St. Joe's Prep, I mean, there was that shot down the field that I was talking about. Unfortunately, that go-around, he just couldn't convert it. But now if you're LaSalle, I mean, they're probably going to be dropping their safeties on this go-around. They don't want to see something like that happen again, especially on 3rd down, and you don't have any timeouts.
Absolutely. Well, trots back out there. Ready for what is another absolutely massive down on this 2-minute drill.
Single high safeties, and I think O'Brien would be able to get to jet there. Actually, Joey going to walk up. Well, now he's going to move back. He was just adjusting the formation, but this is going to be very interesting if they try to go to jet here.
5 wide here. See Billups out wide. They're going to go jet. Harrison, it will be caught and then popped out after the play.
Yeah, he was down.
Chains will move. Joey O'Brien trying to convince the referee it was incomplete. No dice.
Well, if you're the prep, you got to go here. 55 seconds now. The clock's running. You got to get the call off here.
Yeah.
And you got to get the play off now.
Got to move with a sense of urgency.
But once again, Jet just continuing to get the ball and the trip set, forcing O'Brien to guard Rob Novotny, and they're going to go to Jet one-on-one almost every time.
Absolutely. Good blocking. Folk has a comfortable pocket. It is going to be tipped and intercepted. Running it back a good bit is Jimmy Mahoney, who brings it inside the prep red zone. Tried to force it into Simon Colberdino. Pops up, and it's a can of corn for Mahoney, who we've been seeing play both sides of the ball tonight.
Yeah, and a great play there from Mahoney. I mean, the pass was tipped and great concentration. What did I say, Dom? They're going to drop their safeties, and they did so there. If you're Charlie Folk, the play was developing. He didn't have his first few reads, so he just kind of had to force it there to Colberdino. He did have Kion Billups, though, in the right in front of him, right in front of the offensive line. And if you're St. Joe's Prep, once again, just a very big killer. Another mental mishap that is definitely going to cost you here, and LaSalle can get the minimum of 3 points.
Absolutely. Absolute backbreaker here at Franklin Field. Sidwar taking for the first snap on this new drive. O'Brien across the middle on a wide receiver screen. He is stopped for no gain. They're going to go hurry up. We're below 20 seconds here now. Going to see a spike? We will. Ball is spiked with 15 seconds on the clock. It is a 3rd and 9.
I don't think there's any doubt about it that LaSalle's going to go to the end zone here, Dom. And they tried to, get Joey O'Brien on the little slant route to see if they could possibly get some yardage off of that. But the prep, Colton Anderson specifically, do a really nice job just bringing them down. And now, I mean, if you're LaSalle, you're going to the end zone here. You're going to either Owen Johnson or you're going to Joey O'Brien. You got to get the ball in your top 2 playmakers. We'll also see if Mahoney can get it here, as they might target Tyjon Hamilton once again.
Absolutely. See if Hamilton or Ross gets tried yet again, as Sidwar looking across the middle of the field. Triple coverage for O'Brien, not a chance.
Yeah, I mean, triple coverage once again, and I don't blame Prep for putting triple coverage on. And you would have loved to see the interception, though, to possibly just hold LaSalle to 14 points going into the break. But now, I mean, they could possibly add 3 to that going into the break with the ball. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, I mean, being down now 3 scores going into the half, that's going to be very, very rough. Is saying that LaSalle makes the field goal here.
Absolutely. Heck coming out there. Heck coming out there, trying to redeem himself for the earlier missed field goal.
And they're sending everybody trying to get this block field goal here, Dom.
See if the war in the trenches pays off. The kick is up. The kick is good. 17-0. 6 seconds left. Presume that will be our halftime score as well.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts if you're the Prep. You give up the interception. Now it's a 3-score game going into the break. But as I mentioned, the game is not over. The game is not over in any way, shape, or form. If you're the audience, you're a St. Joe's Prep fan, I wouldn't turn the game off at halftime. The second half is all that matters, in my opinion. I'm sure the guys will tell you that on Hawk Talk at the half, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But, I mean, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you're Charlie Folk, and once again, I bring it back to the quote that Coach Roken told me. You can't get 2 highs on the high, and you can't get 2 lows on the low. I said I messed that up so bad.
Ryan,
I said the S in the beginning, and then I said the singular.
You're fine, man.
That's fine. I'm sure everybody understands what I'm trying to say. I hope.
I think they're picking up what you're putting down.
Indeed.
As Heck is ready to boot it away. Presume it will be a squib kick yet again, which we will hope is fielded cleanly. It is. Line drive to Jacoby Martin, who catches it at head height. He's going to go down the right sideline, get tossed out of bounds by Trey Hopkins. Flag is thrown.
Yes, there's going to be a flag here, and the half cannot end on a penalty on LaSalle. So the Prep, I mean, they're going to get one more play, but
Do you think they actually
Yeah,
take it?
I don't know if they're actually going to do anything with it here. I mean, you're going to get 15 yards. You'll probably get this one on, what, the 40-something yard line? I mean, if you want to take a shot downfield, go right ahead. Maybe if the pass is interception, it's just basically like a punt return for LaSalle.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Madden player in me is saying just huck it downfield, but I'm not sure if it's worth it just for the potential of giving LaSalle the ball back on a potential turnover.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, as long as you make the tackle, I really don't think that
I know,
matters,
I mean,
Dom.
just it's always the chance of
No, I'm
fumble
not,
return or something.
I'm not disagreeing with you there, but, you know, I mean, if you're the prep, you want to take the shot downfield, maybe that's what they're going to try and do here, maybe some sort of trickery.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're sending out an H-back, which we haven't really seen, that being Jalen Jones, so maybe they will just need this one down and just go to the halftime break. I mean, if you're Charlie here, try a hard count so maybe he can get a free play and then you can get another opportunity. But, I mean, yeah, you see LaSalle, they're playing everybody deep.
What else would they do aside from play prevent defense here? Handoff, I mean, Williams, he'll go up the gut, and he will lower his shoulder for a 20-yard gain.
Yeah, I mean, worth a try. Obviously, LaSalle, they were playing so many guys downfield, so maybe the pass wasn't necessarily going to work. But, if you're the prep, that's not a bad decision at all. But now if you're the prep, you got to go into the halftime break. You just got to get rehydrated, and you got to come out ready to play. I mean, you're down 17. The game is not over, but it's definitely not looking in your favor as we go to the halftime break. LaSalle, they have the momentum, but if you're the prep, you got to come out ready to go. The defense got to come out, get it ready, you got to stop. And then if you're the offense, got to have your play calls down, got to have the snap count down. No mistakes. Try to get back into this game.
Absolutely not what you want to see at the start in this massive rivalry game. Hawks, no doubt, will bounce back in that second half, but we will have to wait for that. For now, we will go on a short break and encourage you to stick around for Hawk Talk at the half. We're back on WSGP. Charlie Falk avoiding pressure. He's going to go to the side. Rob Novotny holds on through the contact. Strong player moves the chains again.
No, not going to move the chains, Dom. I think he was short there. It's going to be fourth down.
Oh.
No, it's going to be fourth down and around four.
Motioning forward progress.
Right,
not the,
right.
Thank
It's going to
you.
be fourth down around four, and if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to go for it here. Charlie Folk, he did have Jet Harrison wide open at around the 5-yard line in the middle of the field, but he found Rob Novotny. But now if you're St. Joe's Prep, you can maybe able to get the conversion. Jet going to be one-on-one here on the left side of the trips.
Absolutely. Falk, hard count, looks back to the sideline.
If you're the Prep, this is a must conversion right here. You know, you've killed almost half of the third quarter.
Falk looking for Harrison. He'll get it. Tries to spin out of Hopkins' tackle, but the chains move yet again. Hawks are driving, and looking like Falk is finally clicking with his wideouts.
Well, who do you go to when you need to make a play? You go to Jet Harrison. I mean, he has played absolutely incredible here today, especially on the slant. You go to him out of the break, and Charlie Falk knows he wants to go to him every single time. And another great play there from Jet.
I mean, who else would you target?
No, I mean, I don't know if there's a question there on fourth down. You got to make a play.
Absolutely. Typical personnel out there. Novotny, Colberdino, Frisbee out wide on the right. Billups in the backfield. Who else but Jet Harrison? Solo on the left. Hand off to Billups up the gut, and he is met there hard.
Yeah, I mean, now it looks like LaSalle, they've adjusted to the run just a bit. They're getting through the interior line, and, I mean, credit to them. They're doing a really great job. Kion, not much place to go through the A-gap. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, I mean, that's just something you got to fix up if you're continuing to give the ball to Kion on first down.
Yeah, and Cooper Heilig, he fills up that A-gap very nicely. Committed to Ohio State for lacrosse, of all things. But he fills it up well, stops Billups, and see if the Hawks changed anything. Now a trip stack on the right, as Frisbee is the solo one, with Harrison joining Novotny and Colberdino.
And once again, you have the trip stack set, and they're going to force Joey to choose. Who do you want to guard? You want to guard the in-breaking route, or you want to go Jet, who's probably maybe going to do a slant or a hitch?
Falk gets it off. He's looking outside. Frisbee on the out route, and he steps right out of bounds for a clean little first.
And Charlie looked at Alston the entire time. He knew he wanted to go there one-on-one. You have everybody on the other side. They know that Joey's going to play that right side of the field. And then you get Alston Frisbee one-on-one. And, I mean, one-on-one today, the Prep have done absolutely incredible. Alston Frisbee, just a little bit of a 10-yard out. Charlie delivers the pass perfectly. You have cushion coverage there if you are LaSalle. Great job from the Prep.
Absolutely. Great work right there. Flag thrown. False start. And the momentum gets sapped yet again. Not the type of swing you can really afford.
In the Prep, they're arguing that it's offsides on LaSalle, though, but the referees, they're definitely not going to agree with that one.
Agreed. Typically in those false start offside disputes, especially in a rivalry game, they're going to opt on the side of the defense.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the formation here. So this is single high cover one. This is where they like to send the pressure if you're LaSalle, but I'm interested to see if you can possibly force Joey to the other side. Maybe we'll go to Jet.
It's going to go deep, Jet, and it will bounce off the head of the LaSalle DB, Aiden Christie.
Well, they decided to go to Frisbee instead of Jet on the one-on-one fly, and honestly, I kind of agree with that call if you're Coach Sugden. You know, you got to make an explosive play here. It's 1st and 15. You know, try to get the yards back on second down and set up for third. I like that play call. It's just unfortunately it didn't work out. There was marginal contact, good coverage downfield, and now once again, it looks like it's going to be some sort of cover one, and now Joey's going to be forced to choose. Do we want to guard Jet? And they might take another shot here, the Prep.
Reed, you see Novotny and Frisbee actually in a stack on the right. Colberdino and Harrison more isolated. Looking towards Frisbee, who will pop out of that stack, make a man miss an open field. He gets tackled at the ankles by O'Brien, but not before getting a clean little gain down to the 11.
Oh, wow. Alston Frisbee got Mahoney flying out of his shoes right there. What a move. And now you get all the yards back and more. It's around 3rd down and 2. You still got to make that conversion, though. And, I mean, what a move from Frisbee. It was an open field tackle, got Mahoney off his feet. And now, I mean, we'll see where you go here on 3rd down. Frisbee's had an incredible drive, but now he's out for this play. Got Colberdino one-on-one, but Mahoney, the single high. It's actually cover two. Yeah, cover two, right. Yeah, Toodle in the slot. Watch the pressure, though. Timeout.
Timeout.
Yes, I agree with Coach Roken there, taking that timeout.
Yeah.
You need this conversion right here. You don't want to have to settle for a field goal. You killed most of the entire third quarter on this drive. You got to get 6 points, and you saw the pressure coming in. I'm not necessarily sure Charlie was going to have the time to be able to adjust. And a good call there by Coach Roken to call a timeout.
And, I mentioned, obviously, right before the play, that duo stack between Frisbee
Right.
and Novotny. Of course, Novotny's going to be the one out front to clear
Oh,
space,
right,
send out the big man, and then give Frisbee that open space to work with.
There you go. He made a great block downfield.
That's Mahoney sliding on the grass here at Franklin Field. Of course, O'Brien, he's going to find a way to get in there, wrap it up, prevent the really big home run. But Hawks now knocking on the door big time, 3rd and 2.
Well, now they're going to change they're going to change the formation. They're going to put Frizz back out there, and it looks like it's going to be possibly a stack here. Colberdino one-on-one. I don't know. This might be a play where Frisbee could go in motion. We've seen this before.
Yeah, Harrison Frisbee stack, Novotny on the line.
Watch Frisbee on the slant.
Frisbee in motion. Looking at Harrison across the middle on a slant. He walks into the end zone as the Hawks finally touch the scoreboard. We have a game here.
And that's what you needed if you're St. Joe's Prep. I thought Frisbee was going to run the slant. He did that a few weeks ago against Good Counsel, but then he finds Jet one-on-one. And, Jet one-on-one today, he's only lost maybe once or twice. He's pretty much won every single time. And a touchdown for St. Joe's Prep, but you got to keep things going. There's 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's dwindling down. There's still a lot of time, but the defense has got to come back on and get a stop.
Came into that end zone practically untouched. Great drive from C4 and everyone out there. Really made LaSalle pay. And Luke Cochran splits the uprights.
This is what you need if you're St. Joe's Prep, but once again, you can't get, as I just said, you can't get too low on the lows. You can't get too high on the highs. So if you're the Prep, you got to come out. You got to get your defense back. A possible another 3-and-out would be absolutely incredible if you're St. Joe's Prep. Get the 3-and-out, or at least attempt to get the 3-and-out. Get your offense back on the field and see what they can do and work.
Absolutely. And you see everyone trot out there. I wholeheartedly believe that this Prep defense can get the stop. I think they can really stifle the momentum of the Explorers and show them who the real top of the PCL is.
Yeah, that touchdown was the high, but can't get too high on the highs. You look at everybody, you're giving handshakes, all that on the sideline, but, they're not,
satisfaction
overly,
is the enemy of greatness.
Right, you're not overly excited. That's something that just can't happen, and, the Prep are doing a really good job containing their emotions. Look, the offense is back on the sideline. They're going to go over the drive. They're going to get rehydrated and possibly have to come back out on the field, but don't get me wrong, the LaSalle defense got to be tired as well.
Kick is up and away from Cochran. Mahoney will snag it around the 7. Bull find a lane up the sideline. Acree will haul him in, but not until he gets past the 35. Great return as the helmet pops off for Jimmy Mahoney.
Yeah, it was a nice hit from Messiah, and if you're St. Joe's Prep, you kind of just have to toss that one out the window. The LaSalle special teams has been really good this season, and you kicked it right to Mahoney. Sometimes when you kick it right to somebody like Mahoney who's got the speed, you're going to have to deal with the consequences, and the Prep had to do that there. But, the defense coming back out here, the field position is good for LaSalle, but it's not terrible if you're St. Joe's Prep. So you try and get back out on the field and see what you can do defensively.
They do wonder, something that's optimistic for the Prep. At the high school football level, it's incredibly shocking for a team to end the game with 0 turnovers.
Right.
You wonder if LaSalle's due for one here now.
Yeah, that's
Hawks already had one.
Yeah, it's
even
not
2 if you count the special teams error.
Yeah, let's see what happens here.
Tidwar finds J.P. Oates over the middle. The Temple Owl, he takes flight and gets them deep in the Hawks' territory.
And if you're LaSalle, you need that momentum right back, and that was J.P. Oates. It was just simple. They were playing off of J.P. They probably expected the play to develop a little longer, but Civiwar just said, all right, you're going to play off him. I'm just going to throw it right over the middle to him and let him work, and he was able to do that. Big 20-yard gain for LaSalle. And now for the Prep's defense, you got to readjust because you can't give up points here.
Yeah, Waldron's finest was wide right there.
Oh, yeah.
Hawks still trying to get set right here. Sidwar, hard count. Could be Ortiz out here. You're seeing him a bit more often than Nelson. Sidwar. Looking deep for Mahoney, and no good.
And just a bit of miscommunication there between Sidwar and Mahoney. I think Sidwar was expecting Mahoney
to run, a bit more of a fade, but it looked like Mahoney ran a post. Maybe the ball was just behind. The wind did come in a little bit on that play. So, I mean, there was just a bit of miscommunication there between Mahoney and Sidwar, but a great job from Mahoney to get it, to just get past Hamilton. But, I mean, give credit to Hamilton. He was right behind him. He could have possibly made a play if that ball would have came down in Mahoney's range.
Absolutely. It's not ridiculous to say that. See Mahoney, O'Brien, Johnson, Ortiz.
And once again, Lockley coming off the edge here on the weak side. So it's going to be interesting. If you're Grayson McHugh, you got to make sure that Ortiz has the blitz pickup.
See if B-Dot's able to blow through. Going to look out wide for Mahoney. He'll break the initial tackle. He's going to cut past Flaherty, and he will walk right into the end zone untouched. Incredible open field maneuvering from Mahoney, showcasing his agility.
And if you're LaSalle, you just got the momentum right back. I mean, you got Mahoney out there in space, got him on the hitch, and no one from St. Joe's Prep has really been able to catch him today. He made a really nice play. You got to give him credit where credit is due. Made a really nice play. He broke a tackle. He used his speed, and he's in the end zone. That's a touchdown for LaSalle.
Correct right there. Just great work by Mahoney in the open field. Sidwar really placed it well for him. Heck now for the extra point. Heck will get it up and in. 24-7 here for the Prep. For LaSalle. The Prep now trying to claw back from what was a even bigger lead than what they started this half down.
Yeah, I mean, you need a quick touchdown if you're St. Joe's Prep. With 4 minutes remaining, you kind of killed all the quarter and the last drive. So if you are the Prep, you got to get a quick touchdown here and try to get the defense back on the field. Or not try to get the defense back on the field. I messed up there. I said you got to try and just get a quick touchdown here. Defense has got to come back up, got to get a stop, and then see what the offense can do again. But obviously easier said than done. You got to get a good kick return here, and they're actually going to put Kion instead of Messiah back there. I guess Messiah needs a bit of a rest, and I mean, who could blame him? The
Jacoby
defense was
Martin out there.
Yeah, the defense was really working, and I think there was a penalty on LaSalle, maybe some extracurricular activity, and now that's going to move them up. So the Prep here, I mean, you can get some good, half-decent field position.
Phillips and Martin deep for St. Joe's. Heck, ready to send it away for LaSalle. Yes, the penalty, as you mentioned, on kicking it from LaSalle's 25. Phillips and Martin position on the Hawks 20. As the kick is up and away to be fielded by Martin at the Hawks 19. Martin, he's pushing up the right sideline. He gets past the initial wave of blockers and gets out past the 40.
Yeah, and that's what you needed. I mean, you need a good field position, a pretty decent return for St. Joe's Prep. You get on the field with decent field position, and now the offense has got to move. I mean, they didn't have much of a rest on the sideline, but neither did LaSalle's defense. So if you're Charlie Falk in the Prep, you got to come out explosive here, get it to your best playmakers. Alston, Frisbee, and Jed Harrison have done a really nice job thus far, and I mean, we'll see if they can continue to keep making plays.
Yeah, the run game, though, hasn't really sparked, but at the end of the day, do they have the time to really try and establish and grind out that run game? When they've been down at, well, now they're down at a rather large deficit in the second half. I think they might have to stick to passing. You see Novotny on the line here as they hand it off to Billups. He plunges forward for 4 or 5 yards. Decent gain.
That's a good way to start the drive for the Prep. You establish the run now here early, and now you have a possible opportunity to, maybe open up the pass a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of the mentality, I feel. Have to see. If the run isn't an established threat, then how are you going to be able to get them to bite on play-action bombs or something that may really open this game up and swing some momentum in favor of the Prep and Coach Roken's squad?
And I don't know, the Prep have a bit of an alignment issue. Jed is very behind the line of scrimmage. That's kind of unusual.
But he will motion out of it. Now go to the other side. He's alone on the right. The ball's handed off to Billups yet again, who gets drilled in the backfield, but he's still running and is subsequently slammed down by a sea of gold.
Yeah, I mean, once again, the gap just didn't open up there, and Kion, as we speak, averaging 2 yards a carry. I mean, I get he's getting those tough yards, but now it's third down. It's a big down if you're St. Joe's Prep. You got to convert. I mean, it's really now more than ever, so it's got to happen.
Big play by the big guy, Jamel Williams.
Oh,
Wrapping
yeah,
Billups up.
Yeah, great job from the LaSalle defensive line. You got to give them credit where credit's due. They have really held this run down today, but they got to get home here on third down. It's obvious it's going to be a pass.
Absolutely. 5 wide. Falk looking for Novotny across the middle. The safety valve is ever reliable. Hauls it in for the first.
Yeah, Charlie Falk just looking at Novotny, and you knew the pressure was coming, so that's a great job from Falk. And on those type of plays, you want to get it to your big body one-on-one because, you know, if you deliver a pass right in his range, he's got the big body, he's going to come down with it more times than not against a smaller safety. So a great job from Charlie Falk, easily getting it to Novotny for the first down.
Falk looking to his right. It is ping-pongs between LaSalle DBs and thankfully not held on to.
And I think Jet was a little bit upset with that one. He knew he was going to be able to get the ball in space, but the ball was just a bit behind him. Charlie might have got that one off a bit too early. I don't know if he was expecting Jet to maybe get out of his break a bit later. I'm not necessarily sure. Maybe he's expecting him to run a little bit more downfield, but, you know, a bit of miscommunication there and the frustration coming out a little bit. But, I mean, if you're St. Joe's Prep and, you know, the offense, you can't get frustrated here. You got to be able to find a way to score. I mean, there's 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Absolutely. Falk, he's going to uncork it deep and no good for Alston Frisbee. Once a penalty called, but the ball appeared to be uncatchable, a bit too far ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you want to try and get some explosive plays going there. And a play to Alston Frisbee would have definitely gotten that. You would have got the crowd back into it. But, I mean, if you're the Prep, now you got to really go for an explosive play. You tried one on second down, didn't work. Once again, I assume Jet's going to definitely get the ball here. I mean, he has been the guy to go to on third down and really on any down. It looks like he's going to be matched up one-on-one with Joey O'Brien, so best on best here. Actually, no, they're going to make the switch because Jet's going to go deep into the slot.
3rd and 10. Massive play here. Falk drops back, steps up in the pocket. He's going to scramble now. He's going to go across the middle, get hit as he slides. No penalty. Again, rivalry game. You're not going to see that called there.
Now they throw. Well, they throw something, but I'm not. It was way after. So, I mean, we're all clapping up here in the booth, but I wouldn't get too ahead of ourselves because it came way after the hit. I think there was some extracurricular stuff going on. So let's be calm here and not assume this is on LaSalle.
Yeah, agreed. Hearing you can't do that chance.
Yeah, but
Prep,
I mean, as I just said,
they aren't on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was way after the play. I mean, if this is a late hit,
the chains haven't moved, but it's marked as a first down.
I mean, it's a first down nonetheless because he did get it.
Yeah.
Well,
and it will move forward even more.
So yeah, they do call the penalty. I was saying hold on because the flag came in so late. I mean, once again, I don't necessarily disagree that it's a penalty because of the fact that he gave himself up very early and there was a hit. So I do agree with the penalty, but, you know, the flag just came in so late, so I was like, you know, maybe let's not get too all excited. But now if you're the Prep, I mean, the clock's running with 1:35 remaining. You know, now more than ever is a touchdown available to you. I mean, a field goal would be okay, saying the defense can get the stops, but, I mean, you know, the defense just gave up a quick touchdown last go-around, so if you're the Prep, 6 would be very nice here.
Absolutely. 6 is massively needed as Falk looking towards Harrison, back end zone, easy burn on the double move. Who else? Jet Harrison, second score of the game.
Wow, Jet Harrison on the double move. I looked at him
on an island.
Yeah, I looked at him as Charlie looked like he was about to throw in the hitch. He pump fake, and that play was definitely designed to go to Jet. I mean, Charlie pump fake as Jet was going into his break, was going into the double move, and then he just runs right past him into the end zone. Charlie found him easily. He knew that ball was going to go to Jet all the way. And a touchdown for the Prep, but I mean, you know, you can get these quick touchdowns, but you also got to get defensive stops.
Beautiful work. Jet Harrison, of course, going to be the guy who was absolutely wide open. And the snap is high and muffed. Cochran will fall on it. And the momentum of the Prep just implodes.
Well, I was going to talk about Jet Harrison, but I feel like I have to talk about that play. I mean,
Listen, yeah, that sucks. It's a bad snap, and it's just, that hurts the momentum. But, I mean, at the end of the day,
It's only a point.
Well, I mean, that can make a difference. But did you really expect the Prep to attempt field goals down the stretch? I don't really think so. So, I mean, while that does hurt, and it hurts the 10-point lead, now it's officially a 2-touchdown game instead of a field goal and a touchdown. I mean, I didn't really expect the Prep to go for a field goal anyway. So while that hurts, and yes, that really sucks, I don't know how. Obviously, the point's going to probably matter towards the end. But, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it should be something we all get, our heads hung over, if you know what I mean.
Okay, we are back here on WSJP. Luke Cochran will boot it away. Mahoney yet again on the left sideline. This time he will be brought down by the initial wave of Hawks.
Well, now, if you're the Prep, you get the momentum back. Logan Lindsay, who played really good in the game against St. Francis, now makes a really nice tackle. He was making tackles in that game and makes a really nice open field one right there. I mean, Mahoney, he got to the 40. That kind of lost the momentum of the defense. But now, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you knock him back to the 29. I mean, that is a huge momentum helper if you're the Hawks.
Absolutely. You have to agree right there. LaSalle trots back out there. Motion, J.P. Oates. Sidwar now takes it. Hand off to Ortiz. He goes out wide. Big hit.
Yeah, I mean, Flaherty, my thing, I always like to wrap up, but that's a big hit from Flaherty. I think this is going to be holding on LaSalle, but, I mean, if you're the Prep, I don't know how many yards he gained on that one. I couldn't necessarily see. Maybe you want to think about declining this.
I think that was only a loss of, 1, maybe. I don't think it was substantial.
Well, let's see what the Coach Roken decides to do with it.
Holding on the offense. Appears it will be accepted.
Yeah, they'll take it. I mean,
back 10 yards. I think.
Yeah,
it's reasonable to take that.
I don't necessarily disagree, but with the momentum of the hit, I thought maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but I don't disagree.
The hit still happened regardless, though.
Right,
I feel like the momentum, regardless of penalty.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I was just wondering, maybe you want to think about declining that, but, make it second down. Your defense, played well on that snap, and you want to create less opportunities for LaSalle. But either call I think is okay.
Reed, motion from O'Brien. He's going to go out wide, wheel, and then he'll stop short in the flat. Acree tries to break him down, and then O'Brien will get shoved out of bounds. It is now 2nd and 4.
Well, Messiah had to make a really late adjustment there. He had to go back. He couldn't even really get into his stance on O'Brien. Sidwar did a really nice job just snapping the football. And then he got the ball straight to Joey because Messiah, really didn't have a chance to get in his stance or anything like that. So, give credit where credit is due to Gavin Sidwar, and a very nice play call there from Gordon, the head coach of LaSalle.
Yeah, and it seemed like Joey was just ready to go on that wheel off the momentum and just put his head down and run.
Right.
Obviously, Acree expecting that. He just stopped short in the flat. 3 yardage.
No, yeah, 100%. You're definitely right. That's going to be a timeout, I think, by LaSalle.
Sure will be. So, kind of trying. Just take a time.
Actually, might have been a timeout on the Prep.
I didn't see the officials actually point.
On the scoreboard. It was the end of the quarter.
Oh, what are we doing?
We were so locked in that we didn't think about the quarter. But that's the end of the quarter here. The end of the quarter. That was a
12 minutes left. Hawks down 11. Trying to come back here in a clash of the top of the PCL.
Now it's put your 4s up, Dom. This is the big quarter here. If you're the Prep, you got to get these stops here. It's 2nd down. So, let's see what happens.
And we're back here on WSJP as the vaunted Hawks front 7 trots back out there, led by Alex Haskell and Colton Anderson. Like to see some action, really put some pressure on Sidwar and see a sack. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, we have to see one today, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen a sack here today, but the pressure has definitely gotten home. But give credit to Sidwar. He's gotten rid of the football. I mean, he's played really, really stellar today.
Beginning to think this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he is good. There's a reason he's a 4-star and committed to Missouri.
SEC only wants the best. And speak of the devil, Sidwar brought down by who else? Jason Nitz.
Yeah, Nitz. I mean, I was talking to him during the week, and he was very excited for this game. And he's
manifestation, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, he was very. I think everybody's really excited. Anybody we talked to during this week was very excited. But Jay Nitz, you know, he was very excited to play this game here today. And obviously, it's a rivalry, so everybody's excited. But I felt a different tone with him. He really, really wanted to make an impact in this game, and he does so there. But it's money down. It's not fourth down. It's money down.
Absolutely. 3rd and 9. Ball on LaSalle's own 25. Getting a quick change of possession here would be so nice for the Hawks.
100%, Dom.
4 wide. Mahoney, Johnson, Oates, O'Brien. Motion out wide from Ortiz, and he'll come back to Sidwar's side.
A bit of personnel problems for the prep.
Pressure, but he's going deep across the middle. JP Oates, who hauls it in double coverage over Lockley and Flaherty. Now in prep territory.
That hurts. That
massive.
Yeah, that hurts.
From the future Temple Owl.
Yeah, that hurts if you're St. Joe's Prep, and that's just a great throw by Sidwar. And I mean, he placed that ball perfectly. If you're Brandon Lockley at Flaherty, you were behind JP Oates just a bit, and Sidwar just put it in his back shoulder.
I mean, we were telling tales of that, his athleticism earlier.
Right.
That's a big man play.
Right. Might have been a false start there on LaSalle.
Won't be called, though, as you'll see. Mahoney and Oates on the right. O'Brien, Johnson on the left. Ortiz still in the backfield. A little bit of motion from the Hawks as they send pressure. And it'll be O'Brien on an out route. The tackle is not made, and he will jog into the end zone as LaSalle extends the lead to from 30.
Oh, there's
flag
the
on
flag.
field.
There's
Beautiful.
the flag. Well, I mean, let's see.
I saw it too.
Well, yeah, I mean, LaSalle's celebrating, but it is holding roughing the passer.
Oh, great.
Well, I mean, O'Brien one-on-one, probably the most athletic player. Well, not probably. He is the most athletic player in the state. One-on-one, I said it before the broadcast, he has the ability to break any tackle. And, I mean, let's give him credit where credit is due. He made a great play.
Absolutely. Hawks are going to need to really kick it into another gear. 32-13. We'll see if it's going to be 31 right here with the kick from Hack. The point after attempt is up, and it is good through the center of the uprights. But 31-13, 10 minutes remaining. Certainly not optimal, but also certainly feasible, I feel.
No, I mean, if you get a quick touchdown like the prep did last go-around, I mean, you're right back in it. So, I mean, then it becomes a 2-score game with, I don't know, I mean, it depends on how quick you're able to score the ball. I mean, let's say 8 minutes remaining or left when the prep scores. You get a 3 and out, you get back on the field. I mean, listen, a lot has to go right for the prep to come back and win this game. But I'm not saying it can't happen. A lot of things just have to go right. And we've seen it happen before. Look at the St. Francis game. A lot of things went right. Obviously, it was too little too late in the end, but a lot of things went right for the prep, and they were able to get it back into their favor.
No. See, Billups and Martin coming out there. You know, that's a bit of a departure from what we've normally seen in the kickoff crew. Normally it's Almond and Acree.
Well, I think they're just trying to get Messiah a bit of a break here. I mean, the defense has put on so much, time and all that.
Yeah, but, you're so used to seeing A squared back there ready to receive the kickoffs.
Right. And now, I don't want to cut you off, Don, but now they're roughing the passer.
Enforced on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Very short. It will be onto the track here at Franklin Field. Touchback.
Well, it's a bit interesting. I thought LaSalle would maybe, squib it or something to try and pin the prep back in their own territory. But, I mean, listen, they're up 31-13 right now. I'm not going to criticize much that they do. But, yeah, let's give them credit where credit is due there. They made really nice plays.
Absolutely agreed. Falk back out here, ready to make something happen. Frisbee goes into motion. We know how dynamic he can be. It's going to go straight to Frisbee, who is hit before the pass comes by Joey O'Brien. Penalty against him.
Yeah, I think Joey's got a little bit excited there. He read the play beautifully, and to give him credit for that, he's done that pretty good this season, especially against Malvern Prep. He was really able to read the plays and understand where the ball was going. He did that there. He just hit Frisbee a little bit too early before the ball was going to get there. It just got out of Charlie's hands, and they're going to call that no matter how big the rivalry is.
Absolutely. I don't think rivalry is going to change that by any means. Gets you just a bit too early. The excitement of knowing that you predicted it right can kind of get in the way of actually executing on it.
Yeah, now if you're St. Joe's Prep, you're just going to do what you've been doing. It's been working the past couple of drives. You can force Joey to choose who he wants to guard, but now Jet's one-on-one.
Jet one-on-one yet again. Falk, he's got protection. He's going to be a little bit of contact as he throws, and it'll be tossed into the ground. Here at the legendary Franklin Field. Falk drops back. He's going to toss it down to Billups. Wide open. Beautiful move in the open field. Kai Billups rumbling, but the ball pops out. Appears to be recovered by the Hawks.
Yeah, that's very lucky if you're St. Joe's Prep, and I'm going to assume they have the football. Yeah, they do. They come up with it. You're very lucky if you're the Prep, and let's give credit to the offensive linemen who all got downfield, even though Kion Billups was in space. Yeah. If they weren't there, then that could have possibly been a turnover.
It gave me a bit of a scare there, but great work by Kai Billups working the open field.
We got to move on down. The clock is still moving.
Clock is ticking as Kai Billups does push-ups on the sideline. See Williams in there now. Falk looking deep down the field, clear holding on Jet Harrison. It doesn't matter.
Wow. Jet again. Yeah.
3 for 3.
Yeah, you're right there, Dom. It was definitely holding on LaSalle there, and now there's a penalty thrown. I don't know if there's going to be an extracurricular activity thing. Yeah, the touchdown is good, but I want to see the foul first. Yeah, it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the Prep. I think they got Sean Molly on something there, but Jet again just goes up for it. I believe it might have been Lucas Johnson or Trey Hopkins, one of the two.
He's an offense unto himself.
Yeah, but I think right there they kind of got low there. They got a bit too low, and I don't think they expected the ball to come, and they had to hold Jet before the ball got there, and Jet was a lot higher. He just went up and got it. And that's another touchdown for the Prep, and Jet Harrison has just played so great today. 11 catches, 136 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. What else? What other receiver in his class is doing this? As I've said before, and I will say it again, he's the best player in his class.
Absolutely. Jet Harrison, future NFL, top 10 pick.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Luke Cochran splits the uprights.
Yeah, Jet Harrison's the best player in his class. Nobody else is doing this.
Nobody can.
Yeah, exactly. He is just. He's incredible. He did it against in my opinion, the #1 defense in the country in St. Francis.
6 catches, 4 touchdowns. How many yards? Like 200 plus?
It had to be somewhere near there.
I
don't remember.
I thought it was 230 something.
Yeah, well, I believe it was in the 180 range. But regardless, it was such a great game, and now he's doing this. 3 touchdowns. Who else is getting 3 touchdowns against this type of defense?
And Prep alums, they're coming out really to see a lot of this game.
Oh yeah, I saw Vinny DeMarco. I think Carmen Accardo on the sideline. Donovan Dunlap.
DeMarco, Jameer Rowe, Roman Colberdino, Christian Leonard, Donovan Dunlap. A lot of these guys who recently graduated, still playing college ball.
Right. Yeah, the Prep they produce a lot of talent on all levels.
Shout out Josiah Trotter.
Yeah, it's
Emilio Agard Island.
Yeah, he's been great at Wisconsin, and I would love to do if I ever get the opportunity, he'd probably be one of the guys I'd do a sit-down interview with. But
he's great.
He's been playing great at Wisconsin this season.
And now if you're the Prep, I mean,
Shout out to Tomas Jones.
yeah, shout out. But I mean,
As
now if you're the
Cochran.
Prep, I don't want to get two in my head here, but
Collision between the returners, Johnson and Mahoney. Johnson will take it. Flags are thrown. Block in the back or a hold, and he goes out by the 25. LaSalle's going to be pretty deep in their own territory here.
yeah, and I think if you're St. Joe's Prep right now, you got to get a turnover. I don't want to get two in my head and say, oh, you need
No, I
you
agree.
need. This is This is
If
where your
you
defense.
let LaSalle get out of this game with no turnovers, that is a failure.
Well, I mean, that's maybe not necessarily if they're able to get some 3 and outs. I don't know if I'd agree with that there, but I mean, it depends on kind of how this game ends. But I mean, if it's either you got to get a turnover, or you got to get a 3 and out. It's one or the two. But I mean, pinning LaSalle back in their own territory, that is going to be vital. But I mean, yeah, they're pinned back at their own 10-yard line. If you're St. Joe's Prep, I mean, if you're LaSalle here, the Prep, they burned a timeout earlier. They only have 2 timeouts. I mean, I'm trying to run the ball, try and run the clock. You're still up by 2 scores. There's not necessarily a guarantee the Prep can score on their next drive.
Absolutely. Handoff instantly collapsed upon Jay Nitz, little ankle biter.
Yeah, great job from Jay Nitz. As I said, he's been wanting to make an impact in this type of game, and he's able to do so there. But if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to just get back to the line. You can't get too high on the highs. I repeatedly will say that quote. You can't get too high on the highs. I said this during the Francis game. We were all going nuts when Harrison was making these crazy catches, and then the Francis was able to convert a couple of really nice plays and got some penalties that go their way. If you're the Prep, you can't get too hyped now. You just got to keep playing the way you're playing, really on that first play. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but
I'm picking up what you're putting down, Ryan.
Yeah.
You see 4 wide still as the look for the Explorers. O'Brien in motion as usual. Pull pop back out on the right. Sal in their own 5. Looking for J.P. Oates, little wide receiver screen down in the flat. He's swallowed up, gain of 1.
Well, look at the pursuit from Jay Nitz. I mean, once again, he has been wanting to make an impact. Didn't take the play off there. Was able to get J.P. from behind. We've seen him really make some nice plays through contact. And, if Jay Nitz possibly wasn't there, he could have possibly broke. I mean, there were players there, but I think Jason Nitz being there really made an impact and someone we got to highlight on that play.
Yeah, 3rd and 13 here from the LaSalle 7. You see Flaherty coming on.
Yeah, so it looks like what they're going to do here is that Messiah's going to come off, or no, not Messiah's going to come off. Messiah, he's probably going to go into that slot, and then they're going to have Mason Talley play on the outside corner spot. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. And Flaherty going to be playing free safety.
Trip stack on the right. You see O'Brien, he's going to motion out wide. Oates was leading that stack. Sidwar is going to uncork deep down the field. Johnson! He hauls it in.
Wow.
Incredible catch. 45-yard, almost 50-yard bomb over the head of Tyjon Hamilton.
Yeah, that stings. I mean, but once
Hauled
again,
in on the jump ball
the
by
Prep
Owen Johnson.
can't get too high on the highs, can't get too low on the lows. If you're Tyjon Hamilton, you just got to let that one go and get ready for the next play. Obviously, that stings badly if you're St. Joe's Prep because you need to get the ball back, get a 3 and out there. But, I mean, you can always make a turnover. You can always make the next play. If they're going to keep targeting you, then you got to find a way to make a play. And, I mean, he's made a few plays in this game. We saw him do it a few weeks ago against Good Counsel. He played great against Father Judge. We know the talent that he has, and there's no doubt in my mind that he can definitely try and make a play if they target him again.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I mean, LaSalle's still pretty far away from the Hawks' end zone with 7 minutes left. They can still force a 3 and out here, get the ball back relatively quickly as they swallow Nelson for a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, I mean, once again, the run defenses look good here. Knock on wood if you're St. Joe's Prep, but LaSalle, they've done well on the money downs. They've been able to convert, and if you're the Prep, I mean, once again, turnover or at least try and get the ball back. Even if you're pinned in your own territory, you got a man named Jet Harrison that can definitely make a play and get you a long touchdown.
Absolutely. Jet Harrison, dynamic as ever. Seeing him make those massive plays. Now Explorers come out. Got 3 wide on the right. One man isolated on the left. You see O'Brien. He's closest to the center on the right. Handoff to Nelson, who bursts into open space, but he's hauled in by Brandon Lockley. Tosses him out of bounds. And hauled in that Ohio State offer, as many seen.
Yeah, I love that call there from LaSalle. And now, the clock, it should continue to run. I don't know why it isn't doing so. But nonetheless, I mean, it's third down, money down. He can possibly get a stop here. I mean, if the clock is stopping, so I guess that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Clock stopped. 6 minutes left. 3rd and 5. Hawks force a stop here. They're getting the ball back. 5:30. Only down 11. That's a perfectly manageable situation.
No, I mean, yeah, if you can get a quick touchdown and then try and get the ball back. I mean, as I said, a lot of things have to go right, and thank goodness he didn't jump offside there.
That was scary.
A big money down once again coming up.
3rd and 5 here. Hawks 42. Sidwell rolling out. Going to target Joey O'Brien, and he's stripped by Brandon Lockley.
Yeah, great coverage there by Lockley, and you've seen, the linebackers and safeties alike, it's been a bit rough there on those money downs. They have to guard O'Brien either on the out route or on the drag that he ran there, but Brandon Lockley, I mean, I know the speed that he has done. You saw him a lot working out with his speed and agility in the offseason, and he just makes a really nice play splitting the hands and making sure the ball pops out. But LaSalle, I mean, I don't blame them going for it here on 4th down.
If they get this, I mean, that's so much more time off the clock.
Yeah, I mean, if you punt the ball away, not necessarily going to pin the prep deep in their own territory. Or maybe they'll just try and hard count it.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance of coming out just a hard count, but if they get this down, like, they give the ball to prep here, I think there's a 25%
I would snap it. Yep, there you
chance
go.
of it can win.
Well,
and it is a squib punt from Sidwell, a little pooch kick that will pin the prep at their own 23. I wouldn't really say pin them, more like just hand them the ball back.
Well, I mean, the same thing probably would have happened if they would have sent out the punt team. It could have either been a touchback or the same thing could have happened.
You did mention that Sidwell has that pooch
Yeah,
kick in
he
his
does have
arsenal.
that. They do that a couple times, and I mean,
Roethlisberger would implement.
You get that opportunity to maybe draw the prep off sides, and then Sidwell has that ability to just punt it downfield. I mean, I like the call there.
I like the
South.
backspin from Sidwell, but I felt it needed to get a little further down in the air initially. I think that's interesting, though. Certainly a worthwhile thing to have in the repertoire. As Hawks come out in 5 wide, ready to wheel and deal. Novotny, Colberdino, Harrison on the right. It will be Colberdino over the middle. He was down.
I think he was down.
I believe he was down.
LaSalle celebrating. But
LaSalle celebrating if it was a punt. Is that a fumble?
Well, I mean, let's see what the officials say.
The officials don't seem to think so.
LaSalle doesn't have the final say. The prep do. Or, I mean, not the prep do. The officials do.
I would like it if the prep did, but...
Oh, yeah.
In order of likelihood, I feel like Colberdino was down. Colberdino dropped that, or Colberdino fumbled.
And it's a fumble.
They're giving that to...
Well, I mean, not much you can do there, Dom. I mean, just unfortunate from this angle. It kind of looked like Colberdino was down. I don't mean to be a homer there, but, I mean, that's just what I saw. Maybe somebody else saw it a different way, but, I mean, that stings. Once again, the turnovers. You had the muff punt earlier. That, gave LaSalle the ball. Gave LaSalle the ball back in prep territory, and now this. So, I think the mental mistakes are, just been kind of the problem here for the prep today.
Agreed. Haven't been able to force any turnovers. I mean, unless Sidwell decides to just throw up a meatball here.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's see what happens here.
Hopefully he does, but I doubt it. Handoff to Nelson. I mean, what else would they do? As he's hit pretty hard at the line of scrimmage.
And, I mean, if you're the prep, you got to start burning some timeouts here. And the run's coming, and if you're LaSalle, just drill the clock, run the ball. The prep only have 2 timeouts.
Absolutely. Feels like the Hawks are just slowly bleeding out here.
Well, I mean, that's not I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's not necessarily true because you gotta look at the fact that the prep can get a stop here. They can get a turnover. They can maybe block. LaSalle can miss, or it can be a blocked field goal or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance for that volatile play, but you have to see the prep show that they can actually do that against LaSalle at least. Need just someone to step up and make a play.
Yeah, I mean, well, no doubt about it. The defense, they've made a couple plays. Haskell made some plays in the backfield. Jay Nitz had a sack. The prep defense, there's no doubt that they can't make plays. So, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, the defense has certainly been locked and loaded.
I mean, let's see what happens.
100%, I agree. Come out here, a helmet pops off as there's a massive tussle in the backfield that results in a loss of yardage for the Explorers.
Yeah, I mean, you know the run's coming if you're St. Joe's Prep. LaSalle just wants you to burn the timeout. So, I mean, there's no reason why you can't have that in the backfield. Big money down again. You know, I'm not sure how much LaSalle's I apologize, their kicker. I don't know how much range he has. I believe the man doing the kicks today was Heck, and I am right about that. But you know, I'm not necessarily sure of his range. He did miss one earlier, so if you're LaSalle, I mean, if you get this field goal, if you can get a field goal, you could possibly ice it, or you just have Sidward do the punt thing again. I mean, there's a few options
At the
LaSalle
end of the
has.
day, how much of a distinction does a field goal make when the Hawks are down 11 versus 14? Either way, they still have to score 2 touchdowns, don't they?
Well, I mean, think of it as a momentum factor. LaSalle getting another field goal, it gives them a lot more momentum, and it also gives them a little more room to lean on that if the Prep, you know, say something crazy happens where you get a kick return touchdown or something Kion or Jet or Alston or whoever can break for a big touchdown on one of the first few plays, it gives them a little bit more room to lean on. Like, okay, we just gave up a touchdown here. We're down 7, and instead of whatever it would be, we'd have to be the Prep would only have to score more to take the lead. I can't do math. It's a football game right now. Math on Monday. And that looked like a false start, yep. So, I mean, now if you're the student section, you got to get back into it here. These guys got to get loud. I don't know who's running the student section today, but whoever that is got to get them loud. It's money down here. You got to get the guys on the field, you got to get them to feel hype. As LaSalle, they did it before they did it on this very drive. You know, they had a long play to convert on 3rd down, and they were able to do it downfield with Owen Johnson. So if you're the guys, just because it's 3rd and long doesn't mean LaSalle's not going to come out swinging.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of the same formation. Owen Johnson, he's probably going to run a fly here. He's been their vertical threat in this game.
You're going to see a little motion from Sidwar here. From O'Brien here. Sidwar now, he's heavily pressured. He's going to try and step up, and he's brought down. Hawks defense certainly doing their part as they collapse upon Sidwar. Colton Anderson helped to his feet.
And, that's great if you're St. Joe's Prep, but the clock's still moving. There's now going to be under 5 minutes remaining when you have the ball back, so it's going to have to be a quick touch, like quick. Under a minute. You got to get this touchdown.
Make it snappy
and they're just gonna. They're gonna put the Prep in a bad position here. If you go in a punt formation, then you let LaSalle have an opportunity to maybe get something crazy downfield. But if you play defense, like Sidwar can just easily punt it back, and you won't have an opportunity for a return.
so far back.
Yeah, but there's no punt formation for the Prep, so there's not much blocking. A delay game.
Play of game by the offense. 4 minutes, 35 seconds on the clock as LaSalle will get ready to give it back to the Hawks, who will try to make something happen in a last-ditch effort.
I assume the Prep worked in this on install this week. They knew something like this was going to happen. The LaSalle have done this in the past 2 games last year against the Prep. So, they've had to have practiced this in install. So they're probably ready for it. But once again, what if Sidwar throws something here? Timeout.
Absolutely, and you really do need kind of just a spark in any manner of the sort. Obviously, Jet Harrison's really been kind of the one source of ignition for this Prep offense today, alongside Kion Billups, obviously breaking that one very nice screen.
Right.
Some nice impact from Frisbee as well. But something you really want to see is if probably Frisbee, Billups, or if Jet has even more left in him, can really just provide something deep, something quick, and something that can get the Hawks on the board, preferably before 3 minutes.
Yeah, let's see what happens, but let's focus on the punt return first. As the Prep, this could be a big momentum shift.
Absolutely, you see Almond back there.
And there's the flag down. I don't know if there's a difference between running into the kicker and roughing the kicker. So
I think this will just be running into the kicker, which will make them do a repunt. Or LaSalle could just decline.
Yeah. Is it necessarily?
Because I don't think he hit the plant leg. That being Boggs.
That is how the rule's enforced. We'll see. See what happens here.
I think they're just asking him if he wants to repunt or not. Yeah.
Running into the kicker, yes.
Yeah, so as I said, there's a difference between that, and you got to hit the plant leg for it to be roughing the kicker. John Boggs thankfully didn't do that. So, I mean, yeah, they'll just let it go. There's no repunt. The prep, they'll be fine. It'll be a first down for them. Or where the ball was originally spotted.
Now we're ready here. First and 10. Ball on the Hawks 24. Falk, Harrison, Billups. Already trying to ignite this offense. Charlie's going to step up, contested pocket. He'll have to cover himself as it is a big sack from the Explorers. Primarily Jamel Williams making his impact known yet again.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts if you're the prep. You could not afford to give up a sack here in this situation. There's now 4 minutes remaining left in the game. And, you know, you couldn't afford to give up any negative plays.
Falk, pressured, he rolls out. What do you got? It's going to look deep. Jet Harrison swatted out by Joey O'Brien.
Yeah, double cover's not much you can do. I mean, if Jet goes anywhere between, you know, within 10 yards of Joey O'Brien, he's going to be covered on him.
You know, one thing to note, obviously, you see J.P. Oates out there, the man I've mentioned previously, been playing kind of that wide receiver, bigger blocker role as well.
Yeah, he also plays strong side linebacker on some occasions, Dom.
Yeah, you see him out there on the defensive side of the ball. Was going to Temple, multi-talented. Folk stepping up, pressure getting to him. He'll find Harrison, who is dragged down across the middle of the field.
Well, you got to go for it now if you're St. Joe's Prep. I mean, it's literally do or die with 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock. You know, fourth down, you know, it's doable definitely this fourth down. I'm assuming they go to Jet here once again. I mean, Jet has gotten the ball so much today, and for good reason. 11 catches for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has just played. Or, I'm sorry, actually, that's 12 catches, 144 yards. I apologize.
Absolutely, and you see the motion from Harrison coming in. Falk, he's assessing, looking deep across the middle of the field. Targets Colberdino over his head. Out of the hands of Mahoney, and that will be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the very least. I mean, it looked like they were just trying to jumble up LaSalle, make them run into each other, but when that didn't work, it kind of seemed like the play fell apart, and Charlie just had to go to his last read in Simon Colberdino, and I mean, that's really all Charlie could do on that occasion. The play just didn't seem to work, and give credit to LaSalle. I mean, they're the reason it didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. Good defense there from LaSalle in what very likely will be able to put the dagger in this game. Hawks only down 11 with 3, but with LaSalle getting the ball back and being able to just run out this clock, seems less and less likely that the Prep will be able to claw its way back and will yet again fall to LaSalle in their regular season clash.
Well, I mean, there's still time left, so let's see. There's definitely still time. You know, the game's not over till it's over. You know, anything can happen. The Prep can maybe get a turnover here and pick 6, a fumble 6, anything, and then, you know, I mean, anything can happen here. I mean, obviously no timeouts. It's rough, but I mean, the Prep's definitely gonna be going for the ball here.
Absolutely. And you see, you know, guy who just carried that right there was Josh Simmons.
Right.
New back in for the Explorers.
Yeah, I mean, now if you're LaSalle, you're just trying to drain the clock. You know, it probably won't go all the way down, but you know, you could drill most of the time.
Another handoff to Simmons. He's hit pretty hard. Barely manages to gain anything, but it's not the yardage that matters. It's the time off the clock.
Yeah, time has been the enemy for the Prep in most of the second half. You had that one long touchdown that got you your first one of the game, but it drilled most of the third quarter. And then defense came back on the field and gave up a touchdown. And, that just was the thing that hurt the Prep. And it kind of was a, one-sided game between the both sides of the ball for St. Joe's Prep. The first half, it kind of looked like the defense was stepping up, and then it was the offense that was really the strong suit in the second half. So, if you're the Prep, you come back next week and, you game plan. And, the second game, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. O'Brien hit hard on a little bubble screen right there. Nice tackle by Brandon Lockley.
Yeah, B-Lock once again has had a pretty half-decent day. And you love to see Brandon Lockley picking up an offer from Ohio State yesterday. I think you brought that up, Dom. 2 PBUs, 4 total tackles for B-Lock. Bet on B-Lock every single play. And now 4th down, I assume LaSalle will just drain this clock until they have to punt it. They'll probably just get a delay of game call.
Perfectly reasonable from the Explorers right there. As really just a very draining loss for the Hawks right here. Not what they want as delay of game will occur. You hear the cheers from the LaSalle student section.
I think the adjustment, though, you had to make the adjustment. Samaj Hill obviously not going to be in there. The Prep had to make an adjustment defensively. They were able to do it pretty well in the second half. And then the offense, had a pretty good second half themselves. So, everything, things were clicking, just they weren't clicking at the right time for the Prep, and that's kind of what happened. But, give a lot of credit to LaSalle. They exposed the weaknesses that the Prep showed in this game. And, they're going to ultimately prevail with this one. But, as I mentioned, the PCL, LaSalle, if everything kind of goes to plan, if the Prep are able to defeat Roman next week, LaSalle will most likely capture the PCL championship. But, in high school football in general, what matters is really the state championship. League championships don't really seem to matter. I would say more in in soccer and baseball, the PCL championships really matter a lot.
Sidwa will just uncork, and it will go out of bounds. Turnover on downs.
Obviously, this game matters in a big occasion, but at the end of the day, it's the playoffs that always matter.
.46 seconds left here at Franklin Field. 1st and 10 for the Hawks on their own 36. See what they're going for here. Consolation points. Charlie gets ready to uncork down the sideline. Who else but Jet Harrison gets wrapped up by the obvious Joey O'Brien.
And now Jet up to 13 catches, over 150 yards on the day. He's got to be the player of the game for St. Joe's Prep. He played his heart out today. And, offensively, the second half, it was a lot better. But unfortunately, in the first half, it just didn't really seem to click that well.
Yeah, you see that a lot as Folk tries to pump fake while under pressure and is subsequently swallowed yet again.
That's kind of the nail in the coffin there, Dom.
You see Jamel Williams at the scene of the crime as usual. As the clock will tick out here at Franklin Field with your final score in this massive rivalry game, 30-20 for the LaSalle College High School Explorers.
Yeah, it's rough. But there's not much you can do. But the Prep, they played their hearts out. They really did. Defensively, they came out in the second half. Defensively in the second half, they came out and they put on a half-decent performance in the second half. The offense, it really picked it up. Jet Harrison played absolutely incredible. And Charlie Folk had a great second half as well. And, the defense, came up on some occasions, but obviously in the clutch moments, LaSalle, give credit to them. They came up as well, and they were able to make a lot of plays. But, I mean, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you get back in the film room, you get back to practice in on Monday, and you get ready for Roman Catholic next week. The second Coach Roken leaves the locker room, delivers his post-game speech after, then, LaSalle, then they move right back on to Roman Catholic. So if you're the Prep, the PCL championship, kind of out of reach. It's going to be hard to get that back if there's a lot of things that have to go right for the Prep. But now, if you're the Hawks, you move on. Nothing else you can do. You see what happens. You obviously have a second game against LaSalle. Obviously, the Prep last season lost in the first game and came back in the second game and won. But now you have the film on LaSalle. You know what they're going to do against you. They came out in a lot of different packages. And now you know the packages they're going to come out against you. And now the Prep will be able to adjust with it. They're going to have a lot more time with Tyjon Hamilton as well back there and on the outside corner. And we'll be able to see what the Prep will be able to produce in the next game against LaSalle. But they got Roman next week, and obviously lots of more upcoming broadcasts on WSJP. Soccer going to continue. We got that on Tuesday versus Commonwealth Egan, and we'll keep things rolling on WSJP. The action doesn't stop. WSJP always wins.
Absolutely. WSJP does always win. Very happy with the broadcast tonight, using a lot of new equipment, higher quality camera. We had those sideline views. Thank you to CJ and Ryan McKenna. Did a great job really helping us out and adding a new dynamic to our broadcast. We're hoping to get in the future. We were supposed to have it today, but we are working on sideline reporters.
Oh, yeah. We're always going to add here to
WSJP's always
WSJP.
innovating.
Right, yeah. This was a great addition today. You came out and you saw CJ right in the tunnel, with the camera. I don't think anybody expected to see that. You saw the sideline cameras against Roman Catholic in soccer, and then a great job from CJ, Ryan McKenna. Let's give them credit. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, CJD Films, and make sure you follow Ryan McKenna as well. They do such great work, and they're going to continue to help us here with football here on WSJP, and maybe we can integrate it in the soccer playoffs as well.
Here's to hoping. Prep soccer looking to have a very nice run in the PCL playoffs. And, this isn't a situation the Prep's a stranger to. Prep has lost a game to LaSalle before, and yet they've come back and won the one that mattered.
Right.
Let LaSalle celebrate now and come back better
Yeah.
when it's due time to get to that city championship game and run all the way to states.
I know we're all upset. I'm sure most of the people watching this broadcast are St. Joe's Prep fans. You're upset, and obviously, up here in the booth, we're not going to be happy with the loss, but I don't think we have to get so down on it to the point where, we say, oh, the season's over. Because, this happened last season. The Prep, they lost in the first game. They came back and won the second game. You can get knocked down, but it's about how you get up and you finish.
Absolutely. Got knocked down, just have to get back up. They did it during the non-conference. They got back up, got that big win against Good Counsel, and now they're ready to get back up against the PCL play and win yet another state championship in the future.
Yeah, now we'll turn it over to the post-game show here today, and I'm sure they'll have some great coverage as well and insight on the recap of the game. But, Dom, once again, another great broadcast from us, I believe, and hopefully the audience agrees with me there.
I hope so.
And we'll be back. When's the next time we'll be back on the air together? I don't know. Maybe the second game probably against LaSalle. We'll be back together, right?
Oh, I cannot wait.
We'll see what happens.
We will turn it over to the Hawks' fifth quarter, our post-game show, in just a couple minutes.
And welcome to the Hawks fifth quarter post-game show live here at Franklin Field. The final game at Franklin Field for the Hawks. It ends in a 31-20 defeat to the rivals of Winmore, the LaSalle Explorers. I'm here with LJ McKnight. LJ, not the outcome most of us were looking for, but it seems like it's an opportunity to grow from here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to get any points on the board in the first half, I think it's a completely different game. I mean, you're down 17-0 at half, and LaSalle got the ball. It really wasn't the offense's night. I mean, obviously you have 20 points, 3 touchdowns off from Harrison, but, like, I mean, 0 points in the first half just cannot happen if you're the Hawks.
Yeah, LJ, I mean, let's mention this. You came off 82 unanswered points, the past 2 games combined prior, and then you come out, you have 17, as you said, 17 in the, it's obviously not what you want to see. It's a step of progress here. Obviously, Coach Roken, he's been in a situation like this before. He mentioned it to us. It's a time of learning to grow. It's an opportunity to show who they actually are. They started off with a loss, and obviously, this Hawks team will be back. It always seems like St. Joe's has the last laugh, LJ. I don't know if you would agree on that.
I mean, look at last year. LaSalle won on that last second trick play to Joey O'Brien in the regular season. Then we beat them in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Again, it seems like there's always something that they have, and maybe it was a lack of preparation. I'm not, I couldn't fully understand, but LaSalle obviously outplaying in all facets of the game, it looked like, and it seems to have, it seems like the better team did win tonight, unfortunately, obviously, for the Hawks, but LaSalle obviously seemed like everything they did was right, and seemed like they had an answer to everything that St. Joe's Prep had, LJ.
I mean, I was here 2 hours and 15 minutes early, so I saw all the warm-ups, and in the warm-ups, it looked like LaSalle wanted it more. Prep was just slacking out there, happy to be here, but LaSalle was out there working their hearts out in warm-ups, really wanted to be here, wanted to beat the Prep. And I think maybe the lack of discipline in the warm-ups just really killed the Hawks. They just look sluggish. They really look sluggish.
And then next week, LJ taking on Roman, again, one of the giants of the PCL now. Again, they took down LaSalle last week, 39-36. St. Joe's playing in an away game at Widener. How do you feel about that?
I think the Hawks are going to have some serious questioning during practice about what can we do better to beat Roman? How can we play better? What plays can be called better? How do we get off to a better start? But I think if Hawks could get any points in the first half, I mean, it's going to be a win. Like, you can't just have 0 points in the first half. It doesn't matter if you play the worst team in the PCL. 0 points in the first half is just unacceptable.
LJ, thank you for joining me for the Hawks fifth quarter post-game show. Obviously, tune in for all the games at WCP broadcasts. Again, shout out to everyone: Ryan Sullivan, Dom Schalk on call, Anthony Sorgi, Anthony Correa. There's millions of people. AJ Farrington. LJ as well. It gets out. It's so many people. Again, supporting a cause. That Prep might not be undefeated, but I'm sure as hell WSGP is. So with that, thanks for joining us for this stream. We hope you at least had some interest in what we do. Always stay posted for whenever we go live. And as always, thank you. Have a good night and go Prep.